Hello and welcome to Sable's WorldForge. Thank you so much for the raid, Nakati. You were awesome. Check out his channel and his stream if you haven't already. It's really cool. And thank you for the host, World Anvil. Yay! So nice to see you all. I'm very excited. All right, I'm Sable-chan now. That's awesome. Well, it's nice to see you too, Q-chan. That's great. Cool. Hi, Delian. Hi, Bobicus. Yay! Check out Bobicus's channel and Delian, and like, there's a lot of good streamers in the chat right now. Check out. Well, actually, you know what I should just do is drop the link in the chat, shouldn't I, for the Anvilite Streaming Core, which shout out to Shy Red Fox for organizing us all into getting our crap together and doing this in an organized way, because she's amazing. There's the website if you haven't seen it yet. There you can find all the World Anvil streams, all of them. It's awesome. Why does it not look like I'm looking at the camera right now? Sorry, it's weird. No, I'm still not looking at the camera. I don't understand. Oh, you know what? Centering this window might help. There we go, that's better. Okay. Okay. E Songbird came over. Hammer Knife came over. Hello, welcome. I don't think I've seen you before. Nice to meet you. Yeah, awesome. Nakati's here. Secondhand Samurai's here. Walking Dead Lover is here. Hello. That's great. Dinosaur Bob is here. Good to see you. All right. Walking Dead Lover says, oh, first, all right, I have a posture check. Thank you very much, Trended Hero. Welcome. I'm so glad to see you. That's great. Oh, yes, for those of you who like to redeem the hydrate, I have, like, the ultimate, like, this is peach tea. There's no caffeine in this, so I'm ready. I got it. Walking Dead Lover says, I would have slept all day, but then I remembered you on in an hour and I dragged my tired ass out of bed. Well, thank you so much for doing that. That's awesome. I really appreciate it. I hope you have a lot of fun. I hope it's going to be worth it. So, let's see. And Shy Red Fox is here. Welcome, and I'm so glad you joined us. She's a hero. Check out her channel. She was doing gnar binding the other day. Tutorial. If you don't know, gnar binding is an older art that's a little bit like knitting. I actually, null binding, sorry. I actually didn't know what it was before I saw you stream, right? Because I used to be a member of the Society for Creative Anachronism, which are medieval recreationists, and I have a friend, Rowan, who is very into fabric arts. So, if this is something nobody ever takes into account in their post-apocalyptic scenarios that I really think they ought to, and that is that clothing is fucking hard to make. It takes time, right? Like, the industrial processes that we currently have basically are as responsible for women's liberation as the pill is. Right? Because most women, especially in noble families, spend most of their time weaving clothing, right? So this is, it's, if you're part of my post-apocalypse plan, I probably shouldn't tell you because you guys might, well, none of you live near me, so it doesn't matter. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna rob a department store and take all the damn clothes, and I'm not talking about something like Walmart where they're all gonna fall apart in a couple years. I'm gonna take them from, like, the Bay, you know, and I'm gonna bag them up in, like, sealed plastic bags and keep it as a strategic reserve for trade goods because you're gonna need them, man. Clothing is hard to make, right? So really cool that, you know, if you're preserving those skills, because you never know, they might be important someday. This is 2020, anything could happen, right? And everybody's saying hi to each other. Oh, Trunded Hero has a bad migraine. I'm so sorry. Do you have any feverfew by any chance? Because that can be good for, and if you don't now, you can probably get it in your local herbal store, and you might be able to find it just growing around. It's a weed. It grows in my garden. I'll send you a picture on the Discord so that you can identify it, because it can be helpful. In the meantime, I don't know. I hope you've got at least the dark theme on, because, you know, Or put me on in the background or something. Don't stare at the screen. It's just going to make your migraine worse, hon. Aw. Null binding, yes. Sorry. Dreaded Hero says, I've taken so much aspirin. Well, don't take any more. That's bad. And Shy Red Fox says, ah, yes, SCA peeps know what it is usually. Yeah, you bet. And even have had a general idea of how it worked, although the only fabric art I'm any good at is cross stitch. And that only if you don't look at the back, right? Sewing machines and I don't get along. I am much better with hand sewing. I'm not bad with that. I really am not, but you know, knitting, crochet, none of it. And most of the time, I'm not very good at the spinning part either. I am allergic to wool. I'm very allergic to wool. I'll like get hives on my hands if I handle it for too long. So I'm afraid I will have to make myself useful in the post-apocalypse in a different way. Q says, that's why you tan human skins. No. We've decided in our post-apocalypse society that the cannibals have to die. It's just because it gets out of control if you don't do that. And then eventually end up with people hunting each other for their meat. Like, I did... If you guys are ever interested, I wrote an article a while ago called Sexism in the Apocalypse, right? And it was basically a deconstruction of this idea that people just turn into frickin' barbarians as soon as society collapses. It's a trope that happens in post-apocalyptic fiction a lot. I read a lot of post-apocalyptic fiction. I like it, right? It's one of my favorite things, right? But really, in disasters, people are far more likely to cooperate than they are to degenerate into gun-toting lunatics, right? They're like all that stuff that you heard about happening after Hurricane Katrina was nonsense. It was rumors. It was not true. The only people who got hurt were, guess what? Shot by cops. Yeah. So, yeah. Right. Granted, there were a couple murders and there were a couple thefts, but nothing that wouldn't have been normal for an average day in New Orleans. So, oh, I missed something. Sorry. Oh, yes. Yeah, Shy Red Fox does the most fantastic fabric stuff, says Secondhand, and absolutely, it's really cool. Q added probably about tanning the human skins, like, yeah, I don't want to admit that I know that in public. What? I imagine it worked just like any other leather, right? I don't know. I have not tried this either. I have a vivid imagination and I read a lot. Okay. Oh! Trended Hero says, you are super cool and amazing, and I bet you like peaches. I love peaches. They're like my favorite fruit. It's true. I also like peach flavoring, which is unusual. So those fuzzy peach candies, I can't resist them. Okay, Shy Red Fox says, think that they had to spin and weave sails, and then she blushes from the compliments. Yeah, I know, spinning, weaving sails. Have you ever held a sail? Right? They're heavy and they're huge, and you needed yards and yards of cloth, especially in the age of sail. That was not done by commercial manufacturing. None of this fancy vinyl stuff we have now, right? They wove that out of canvas. It took forever. The infrastructure required to maintain that was enormous. So yeah, impresses the hell out of me too. Secondhand says to cue zero to cannibalism in record time. Yeah, see there, Shy Red Fox, she's smart. Strategic reserves of coffee. There is a place that grinds coffee that is like just down the hill from me that I'm probably going to put on the rating list too. Unfortunately, that is going to run out eventually, and I don't know. It depends on the apocalypse as to whether or not we'll be able to get society back in such a way that we can get more coffee before that runs out, even if it does last a few years. And thank you for the follow. Verita Razel. Razel? I hope I got that right. Thank you so much. Let's see, who else have I missed and follow since the last time I was on? Let's see here. Yes, Rin, thank you for the follow. I may have thanked you before, but if not, I'm making sure to cover it now. Lax Yak loves laws. Okay, or Lozy. Well, thank you for the follow. That's great. Cool. All right, and hydrate, damn it. Okay, thank you. I need to do that. I get a little hoarse by the end of this, so. All right, where are we? Q says, darn. Trended Hero says, I took some tea now. Oh, it just started to rain. I don't know if you can hear it on the mic. Probably not with the music going, but it's like pouring pretty heavily. I've got a window right in front of me here behind my screen, and yeah, I can, and my camera, and I can hear it like pretty intense. It sounds like it means it. So, Trended Hero says, I took some tea now and listening to some ASMR. Cool, that's good. Awesome Sable member recording. Cool. Cherry Fox says, oh, I suck at cross stitch. I am in awe with that and hand sewing. I love cross stitch. I haven't done it in a long time though. Yeah, it's hard to find supplies now. It's not as popular as it was. So, Q says, probably a good idea. That's what annoys me with zombie apocalypse. Oh, raiding the department stores and coffee? Yeah, right? That's what annoys me with zombie apocalypses too. It just assumes everyone will turn into monsters instantly instead of banding together. Oh, and thank you for the host, Greg. Hi, nice to see you. Awesome. Thank you. You had an awesome stream. I think it was last night that I was watching it. It's all starting to, my time sense is getting completely lost because I've been up late and up early, and I have like no sense of what time of day it is anymore. I've been trying to watch as many of the great streamers who are streaming Anvilite content, right, as I possibly can, and y'all are so active. It's great, and there's always something to watch. Almost like what I often do is if I miss the World Anvil community stream, I almost always catch it later, right? I spend a fair bit of time in the bathtub, right? It's because I have like a chronic pain problem and it helps with that, right? So I usually use that time to catch up on things like streaming and whatnot, and I haven't had a chance to catch up on the community streams I've missed because there's always somebody live, and that's cool because live is always better. I try to make the community streams whenever possible, right? Because they're fun, they're great streamers. I love watching Janet and Dimmy, they're awesome. But, you know, live's always better, so I'm always tuning in. So keep it up, guys. It's so cool. You guys are doing so many cool things. Q says, in times of crisis, humanity bands together mostly. I honestly think it's a survival instinct, and it's one of the things that is probably as responsible for our success as a species as our intelligence and our opposable thumbs are, right? Tigers don't generally attack humans. Why? Because then all the damn monkey humans get together and kill your ass, right? And they know that, so they don't mess with us. And a lot of stuff out there is like that, right? And so cooperation is important. And people, I don't know, we've got this mythology of the lone man, always a man, right, who is smarter than everybody else, and he knows the truth, and he's going to independently defend his family and be willing to resort to violence if he needs to, and you're going to die, man. Right? People cooperate and then they get things done. So Secondhand says, like Lord of the Flies takedowns when compared to historical accounts of island strandings. Yeah, no doubt. Exactly right. Exactly right. Trended Hero says, I am working on a past apocalypse right now based in an alternate 1980s. We were discussing that briefly. I did read back the Discord, at least somewhat, and I put some reactions, but I didn't have time to talk about it at the time. But I did see that, and I'm there. That's cool, right? Inspired by Fallout, awesome, right? Where robots, computers, mechanization, and holograms were established by 1987. That's great, cool. Right? I don't really want to explain how these things were made because so much time after the Great War has passed. And that is cool. Was that a second hydrate? I'll drink. But yeah, you know what? That's a great idea. If you don't want to think about how it all unfolded, you can make it mysterious. It was just lost in the disaster, right? Like, I think I read somewhere we've maintained something like 5% of all the literature that came from ancient Rome, right? That's it. So it's quite possible lots of things could get lost. Hi, Greg. Nice to see you too. Oh, and eSongbird is hosting me. Thank you very much for the host. Awesome. You're on after me, right? So we're going to be rating you. Okay. Oh, and we have a highlighted message. Always a freaking man in that nonsense trope. It always is. And you know, this face. Yeah, I know. It gets old, doesn't it? It really does. Right? That's what the article I wrote was about. The fact that, okay, you know, there seems to be this belief that society is what gives women the opportunity to be liberated. And if society collapsed, then, you know, we got to stand by our man to defend us because we're weak and frail and kind of stupid. And I guess, you know, and I'm like, ain't going to happen in my universe, man. No, it's not. I'm going to band together with a group of people who are all equals, and we're going to protect each other. That's what we're going to do. Right? So, oh, and thank you for the posture check. I need those. Oh, you know what? I forgot my glasses. I had my reading glasses and I left them on the table. I'll get them in the first break. Oh. Uh-oh. Okay. All right. My mod bot grabbed a comment from Zog. Zog Mad Dog, nice to see you. And you know what? It's fine, right? Because I see why it grabbed it, but it was relevant to the conversation and there's nothing wrong with it. So I allowed it. Okay. So probably appeared now. Nakati says, the burning of Alexandria lost us a lot of good books as well, or scrolls. Yeah, I know, right? Like, history nuts are still crying about that one. Yeah, that was terrible. Yeah. See, this is why you should never burn books, ever. Like, whether you like them or not, right? Whether you agree with them or not, no matter how horrible you think they are, you should never do it. Because, I don't know, I guess I'm a believer in if those who don't understand history are doomed to repeat it, right? So, Greg was a oh, yeah. Q says shotguns are pretty gender neutral in their use. Yes, they are. Right? Greg agrees. Yes, very handy that way. You know what? Like they said, you know, what was it? God created man, I would add, or women, and Smith and Wesson made them equal. Yeah. Okay. So there's Zog's comment. Oh, the monkey ass humans are going to get together and kill your ass. What did I just jump into? Yeah. I was talking about how tigers generally don't eat humans because when they do, right, humans will hunt you down. They will hunt them down and kill them. They will go, oh, there's a man eating tiger out there. We need to kill it. Right? So cooperation is a survival advantage that I think gives us as much heads up as a species as our brains and our opposable thumbs. Right? Okay. Nakati says, well, it was an accident during the civil war of Julius Caesar. Yeah, I know. All this stuff is accidents. I am just crying over Petra still. I'm sorry. But yeah, they weren't planning on burning it. It's true. Also, apparently, it had been in disrepair for over 100 years because of underfunding. Can you imagine allowing that to fall into disrepair and all of the scrolls getting mold? Like, I can't imagine, you know, why you would want to do that. But I guess there's some who want history to only present what they want, right? Not what was. So, yeah, Q says that's why tigers have a union in Megacorpolis. Do they? I would not be surprised. Yeah, I'm sure everybody here now knows Q's Megacorpolis. I'm a big fan. I think it's freaking great. Yeah, freaking great. Yeah, also cybernetic lasers. All I want is a freaking dolphin with a laser on its head. Yeah, very cool. Greg says there's a sci-fi anthology edited by a friend called Cat Ladies of the Apocalypse by Lynn Worthen. Feel free to drop the link in the chat. I'm always interested in post-apocalyptic stuff. I just think it's the coolest thing. Post-apocalyptic stuff, cyberpunk, and space opera are like, you know, pretty much all. That's all you have to say, and I'll read it. I'll give it a shot at least, right? Okay. Tronid Hero says, now here's my question. How to make this alternate history post-apocalypse interesting and unique? Well, it's very unique in that it's kind of a 1980s oriented one. That's a unique take. The only thing that ever did anything remotely like that I'm aware of was Ready Player One, and I would not call that a post-apocalyptic story. Right? I'm sure it exists. Nothing is completely new, but I haven't seen it, so it's not common for sure, right? I don't know if I'll do mutations like Fallout super mutants or ghouls, but I also need to figure out how long it is after the Great War of 1987. Okay, so this is actually a great topic if you're a writer of post-apocalyptic fiction. I struggle with this too, right? I had to work. Oh, thank you for the follow. And Zog followed me too, and I missed it. Thanks for the follow, Zog, Bad Dog, and Hammer Knife. Awesome, guys. Cool. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, post-apocalyptic literature, right? I struggled with this in the Weird West, right? Because on one hand, right, if it's too far ahead, then logically society will disintegrate to or change, right, in a point that the cool factor that you're looking for, like the 80s shtick, right, might be lost, right? It would not make sense for that to still exist because, you said it like 1,000 years in the future. I mean, a lot happens in 1,000 years, right? We don't even talk the same as we did 1,000 years ago. People from 1,000 years ago speaking English would not be able to understand a word we said, right? Maybe one or two here and there, right? That's it. So yeah, you can't set it too far in the future. But if you don't set it far enough in the future, right, then you're, like, what stuff would linger that shouldn't, right? Or that you don't want to, right? Or things would be still so horrible and in such disrepair that it would be difficult to actually get a cohesive society going again. Now, maybe that's your goal, right? But, you know, right? And when you want to create weird lore, right? Okay, let me think here. Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, right? Classic. Most people have at least heard of it if they haven't seen it, right? Or maybe I should just go Fury Road, because there's a whole group of people who've never seen the 3 original Mad Max movies, but they've seen Fury Road. Okay, so to be honest, the Furiosa's robotic arm stretches credulity, right? Because, I mean, like, okay, don't get me wrong, I love that movie, I think it's cool. You should watch it, right? It's awesome. But, and I believe it won a Nebula Award like 2 years ago for Best Dramatic Presentation. So, yeah, definitely see it. But the robotic arm stretches credulity because we don't currently have this technology, right? The apocalypse obviously happens, well, it happened in like the late 80s, right? In the setting, right? Obviously, Mad Max is probably about my age now, right? And is old enough to remember the apocalypse. So the apocalypse happened within my living memory, right? And when society collapsed, we did not have that kind of technology, right? So how would they have built it with such a resource poor and isolated society afterwards? It stretches credulity. Now, it doesn't mean you can't do it anyway, because it's cool. Nobody else noticed that, and I noticed it but didn't care, right? So, reading old science fictions like that, right? People talk about recording tapes, right? And they're what the hell do you call it? I forgot, like circuit connections that are clearly a much older technology than we currently use in space, right? And but then you kind of treat it as a fantastical setting, like a steampunk thing, and you go, okay, well, obviously in this world that was sufficient. Maybe the laws of physics work a little differently, or hey, maybe they discovered that all our fancy circuits go right to shit out there when exposed to space radiation, which isn't a stretch, because that's a thing, right? So yeah, so finding that balance of where it's the weird things you want to do are credible, but there's enough of the cool factor from the era you're trying to maintain That's hard, right? I would suggest no more than a couple hundred years for your particular setting, right? Enough for people to get their feet back under them. But since most of the technology that's lying around is still that sort of diesel punk 1980s, that's what they find, right? And so yeah, that's my suggestion there. I'm sorry for the long answer, but it's complicated. It gave me an opportunity to talk about something that's kind of important in writing, right? Nakati says it's happened to many museums during the last 10 years being destroyed. Yeah, it has. It's terrible. Right, yeah, because of underfunding, right? Yeah, they aren't profitable and it requires a conscious decision to support them and also enough infrastructure to support them, right? Like it's very hard to maintain a quality museum in a country that is poor, right? But in a country that is wealthier and perhaps more politically stable, it's easier, right? This would there's an intense debate going on right now about a lot of the contents of the British Museum, right? Because let's face it, 90% of it was stolen by colonialist assholes, right? And most of the countries that they stole it from want it back, right? And my heart agrees with them, right? It's their culture, it's their history. They should have it, right? On the other hand, some of those countries are at war. Some of those countries have a lot of civil unrest, and some of them are very poor, right? And not all of them, but some of them. At least I know in the British Museum, it's not going to get trashed unless we decide to nuke each other. So, you know, at what point does one culture's history become world history? And this is something that I don't have a good answer. I don't have a good answer. I don't know what the right answer is, right? So we're gonna have to keep having dialogues about that. Yeah, same thing's happening here in Canada. A lot of First Nations stuff is in museums, and the First Nations want it back, and they got a right. They got a right to ask for it. It's theirs. It's not ours. The colonial nation that is Canada, we took it, right? It ain't right. So E. Songbird says, having worked in a library, damage caused by lack of funding is far more common than it should be. Yes, it's depressing. Please support your local library and please support your local museums. Go give them money. They need it, okay? Yeah. Aha! And Greg is getting started on the feedback. He has posted me a link because that's what I said I was here for. And that's good because we've been talking for at least half an hour now. So why don't we check out what Greg has to offer? Let's have a look. Oh, no, wait, no, that's his link to Cat Ladies of the Apocalypse. Okay, so there's the link in the chat. You know what? I'll actually put that up on the screen so you guys can have a look because this looks cool. All right. It's time to turn the man and his dog wandering through a dystopian world trope on its head. Yes! Hell yes. Okay, immediately going on my want to read list. Right? And tell the stories about cats and their women in appropriately dystopian settings, put in the right order. Good stuff. I'm owned by 2 cats. Yeah, Cat Ladies of the Apocalypse features stories of strong women and their cats and tales that bring hope in the darkest times. That's awesome. Oh my god, that's so great. I definitely want to read this. This is my shtick. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I'm so in. I'll follow this Lynn Worthen too, because why not? That's great. Cool, she's the one who put that together. I don't look at the cover, enlarge cover. I wish I could enlarge it more than that, but that is one cool ass cover. That is great. Okay, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. That is so cool, Greg. I appreciate that because I want that. All right. Yeah, like the fire in Brazil in 2018, says Nakati. People do not appreciate the tragedy of that. Even when we're working to preserve history, so much of it is lost. And then anything we say about history is a guess. And a lot of times the interpretation of history is political, right? It more often than not serves a political need or want than it actually serves giving us the information. And only if we have more information can it not do that, in my opinion, right? Dolphin Dolphins with lasers. Okay, yes, I'm definitely checking out dolphins with lasers. We must see. Okay, wait here. Oh no, this is a little different. This is like, oh, this is great. Okay, just a sec. You guys gotta see what I'm seeing. There you go. Can I blow this up, I wonder? Zoom. There we go. Now you can see it, right? It's amazing. Oh, that's so cool. I love it. I just love that. That's great. Thank you. Now I have dolphins with lasers on their head. My life is complete. Okay. Close that back down. And close this window. Okay. Back to this. All right. Oh, Nakati says, here's an example of an English dialect called Yola. Okay, cool. I'm going to put this up and then I'm going to try to pause it right away because I don't want to get hit for copyright strikes here. But I am definitely going to check that out because I'm always interested in other cultures, and, you know, variations in culture is really interesting. One of the coolest things is how English, or no, how English evolved on Pitcairn Island. That is the neatest thing. For those who don't know, Pitcairn Island was, there was a famous mutiny, and the mutineers landed on Pitcairn Island and disappeared off of the British Royal Navy's radar, as it were. They didn't have radar at the time, but you know, right? They kind of lost them, and they stayed there. And over time, I guess there were also islanders who lived there, native islanders, and they developed their own very unique culture. It's really cool. If you ever want to, you know, come up with some cool stuff about what might happen after a post-apocalypse when a couple of different cultures get together in isolation, definitely worth checking out. Okay. Oh, thank you for the sub, J.I. Rogers. Awesome. And good to see you, by the way. I hope you're well. Is the moving crap done finally? Because you've just been overwhelmed, eh? Oh, hydrate. Okay. Thank you to Undead Hero. Greg says, how much wonderful history was lost in Iraq after the fall of Saddam Hussein? I know, right? What is going on in the Middle East and has been since it's just a tragedy. Like I said, I'm still crying over Petra. I will never get over that. That was on my bucket list of things to see, and now I will never be able to see it as it was. And it's so depressing that something so cool. Oh, no. What are you doing with this? I have a scan going, apparently. We can't have that. I have to shut that down. Okay, yeah, I have to. Sorry. Maintenance, because I find that sometimes my computer just can't handle it. Q says, tack for J.I. Rogers. Ooh, are we posting feedback links now? Yes, get started, guys. Post them. I'll point out, right, that now that the challenges have been revealed for the second tier, I am sponsoring the birthday challenge, right? The prize is books, right? Because that's what I have. They will be ebooks or subscriptions to the fiction that is serialized on my site, and I'm doing a few prizes, so some of them are both. Right? The rules are we're not supposed to tell you what our criteria are for judging, and that's really fine because I don't have any, right? Do I like it? Is it cool? I don't know what I'm gonna think is cool. I don't you know what I'm gonna think is cool either, right? So it's really, you know, but the important thing is if you want me to look at it, make sure I look at it, because I understand that it's a little overwhelming. I've never done this before, and I hear that I will not be able to read all the entries. It's probably going to be impossible. So the key is to make sure I see it, right? So this is a good opportunity to do that. And if you guys want, I'll run next weekend stream on Sunday entirely for that, right? If you want. E. Songbird says, support universities too. They contain many wonderful historical items that most libraries aren't interested in. So there you go. Yeah, absolutely. Q agrees. Delia says, so many beautiful open tabs. I'm terrible that way. hmm if I don't have it in front of me and I'm working on it, I will forget that I was working on it because I have so many projects on the go all the time. So I keep them up so I remember I have to finish them. I still have recipes that I have to get done from like last month, and they're not going to get done till August. Let's just be real, because I'm having trouble keeping up with the props. So Q posts a link. All right, Megacorpolis. Let's have a look. I'm such a fan of Megacorpolis. I cannot wait to see. Here, let's go, main. Alrighty. Ever Monday Research Facility. Oh, you shared this in Kahuna's chat. I only caught like part of it though, so I'm looking forward to reading it more. But I probably cannot do the cool voices that he can do. You know what I'm going to try to do though? Let's see if I can get you some better music here. Just a sec. I'm going to bring... I can do this. I can do music that suits your setting, maybe, because I have my Sirenscape players running. Let's find you some, like, corporate chip music kind of stuff here. Let's see what we can do. What have I downloaded? Ah! Okay, I've got Cyberpunk Themes I can download. I'm going to give it a try here, just a sec. We have a subscription to Sirenscape, and they generally do my background music. I think we'll go with Cyberpunk Disco, because that kind of suits the mood of Megacorpolis, I think. Alright, so I'm going to turn off my... Alright. Let's see. It's pretty loud, though. Let's try music through a door. Nah. Okay, we'll go back to the original one. I like it better. And we'll turn down the music. There we go. I think you can hear me now, right? Okay. Okay, there we go. We have some good Ever Monday Research Facility. Monday already? I swear, it feels like it was just yesterday. Subject E5-24601. 24601, somebody watched Les Mis. Killing someone is easy, but killing an idea takes a lot more effort and disregard for human rights. The Ever Monday Research Facility used to be a mid-tier corporate structure where workers went about their daily lives as another cog in the corporate machine. I'm going to turn this down a bit more. There we go. Okay. It has now become the primary site of R&D for the Task Force Monday in their quest to contain Mondays. I love it. I missed the beginning of this, so this is cool. It isn't Mondays themselves that are the problem, but the idea of just how miserable they are have become a mimetic info hazard, leading to billions lost every year in lost productivity and general complaining. To try and figure out the best way to fight against the Monday mood, the task force has created a self-contained office in which it is always Monday, so they can study its effect and attempt various harebrained schemes to fix it. No one really volunteers for what is basically hell, so the task force have turned to unorthodox means of procuring test subjects. Basically hell. Let me out! Scrawled in blood on a whiteboard. Groundhog Day at the office in a cubicle. I'm gonna send my friend Alan Bailey to have a look at this, because he's the guy I co-host If This Goes On Don't Panic with, and he says I am a corporate drone. He describes that as his job, so I'm totally gonna point him at this. It's great. Although the Ever Monday research facility retains much of its trappings as an office with endless rows of cubicles, unpleasant lighting, motivational posters, oh god, did those irritate you as much as they irritate me? I want to punch fists through them, I'm sorry. Yeah, and so on. It is a simulated Groundhog Day of Mondays. Subjects are put through a combination of drugs and brainwashing, so they'll keep thinking that every day is another Monday, while researchers watch and perform experiments. About 10% of the workers are plants. Task force members sent in to aid in those experiments and observe the herd up close. When necessary, they also remove anyone who's broken through the programming and realized that something is going on. Like the Matrix, which is why you have the placeholder. That's great. Subjects are categorized by a stability index with complicated names, but more informally named after the days of the week. Fridays are the most sane subjects. Well, those approaching Mondays are probably a danger to everyone around them. That is hilarious. I personally think the Thursday people are probably the most sane, because the Friday people would get distracted by, okay, so it's like 2 hours to closing time, right? But I'm going to read that last because I think it's intended to be read last. I'm going to go to your sidebar. Task Force Monday. Everyone hates Mondays, but there's only one task force trying their best to kill it. Sponsored by several megacorps fed up with the profits and productivity loss on Mondays. Of course, it's profit-oriented. This is Megacorpolis. The Task Force Monday is an info hazard fighting force who's bringing the fight to Mondays. They run the Ever Monday facility, and that should be your first hint that they're not really the good guys after all. Oh, Task Force Monday Containment Specialist article link. And we all know Mondays suck. Yeah, it's your rank article. Good stuff. And the corps are finally doing something about it. I wouldn't get my hopes up, though. And then there's a sidebar here. Good stuff in the window. Experiment log. There's science to be done, if one is to defeat Monday. Test 17-A, Java experiment. Excessive amounts of Java is sufficient to defeat the Monday mood for a time, but soon lead to Java mania. Oh, that's a condition, is it? Is that your condition article? Crippling and tragic addiction to Java, or healthy enthusiasm for the world's best drink, depending on who you ask. Okay, I'm on the healthy enthusiasm train myself. Yeah. Anyway, and the experiment was canceled after 3 subjects were killed and eaten. Oh my! Test 84-C, Sewer Gator Motivator. What if the subjects felt a terror greater than their fear of Mondays? Cancelled after the Sewer Gator used in the test escaped and again ate 3 subjects. That's probably your apex predator, right? Built to accommodate billions, the sewers of the Megacorpolis are an enormous labyrinth that even the Minotaur would get lost in, and if he did, he'd probably get eaten by a sewer gator. That is awesome. Of course there are sewer gators here. That's amazing. This article has suffered from Monday mood and will be finished at a later date. If you feel like... Actually, no, wait, I'm a girl. I should be doing the... This article has suffered from Monday mood and will be finished at a later date. If you feel like you are dreading Monday, even reading about it, please report for containment at your earliest convenience. Totally loving that article. That's great. You guys should go spot on the like. That's cool. Cool as hell. I am such a fan of Megacorpolis. I think it's amazing. Thank you so much for that, Q. I love it. I got nothing to suggest or add myself. If people do in the chat, feel free, because I got nothing to say. I'm just so amused. I just love your work. Alright. Scribe of Nakati has shared his article. Let's have a look. He did a really wonderful shout out for me in his stream, so thank you very much for that. Oh good, the music's still gonna fit. Okay. Alright. Oh, this is your vehicle. Okay, cool. DRS Sylvia Earle. Overview. The DRS Sylvia Earle was an ocean-going research vessel that disappeared under mysterious circumstances shortly after colonists arrived on Deseret. Is it Deseret? Yeah, probably Deseret, because you're into the Egyptian symbolism, the Kemetic symbolism. Cool. Okay. Legend has it that the ship was dragged down... Sorry, I should interrupt. Because I'm Canadian, whenever I see E.T., I always think A. Right? And so used to hearing the French, but Deseret. Okay. Legend has it that the ship was dragged down into the depths by a monster out of old Earth myth, the Kraken. Oh, you like Krakens too. Was that your apex predator? Because I did like a star Kraken. That is cool. History. Mayday! Mayday! This is DRS Sylvia Earle. We radio static and are going down. Radio static has a hold on the ship. Please send radio static. Mayday! Mayday! Captain Robert Gurney of the DRS Sylvia Earle. In 13 DE, many of the estuaries and coastlines of Deseret had been mapped and studied enough for deep ocean research to finally receive attention. Very cool that you're covering deep ocean research on worlds in a space opera kind of setting, because I don't think that a lot of space operas pay enough attention to that, right? I mean, if a world's going to be habitable for us, then we're going to need to go to places where there is lots of water, and how the ecosystem manages itself is going to be so important for us to understand if we're ever going to live on that planet, right? So kudos to you. All right. On November 7th, the DRS Sylvia Earle left dock at Ocean Forest under the command of Captain Robert Gurney and carrying a crew of 25. They sailed without incident to the research area, approximately 100 miles from shore and directly over a deep ocean trench. After several hours of tests, the weather turned bad and the port authorities recommended heading back to dock. Shortly after the Sylvia Earle began its trip home, port authorities received a mayday signal from the vessel. Although audio quality was badly degraded by the storm, Robert Gurney was heard to say that something had a hold of the ship and that they were going down. Rescue ships were sent to the estimated site of their last transmission, but no remains or survivors were able to be found. It's interesting. If we're exploring other worlds, do we not immediately establish a drone satellite system to give us GPS? Or is it something about the conditions of the world that might interfere with the radio signal? Just a thought. I'm either way, cool, makes sense, but I keep thinking about that. I'm like, it's an alternate world setting, so it doesn't really matter, but as I think about the way technology is currently developing, we're doing more and more stuff by automating drones, especially when it comes to space exploration. And, I just wonder, but cool either way. Yeah. To this day, the Deseret Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, DOAA, offers a $10,000 reward for finding any piece of the Sylvia Earle. Legacy. Now for some real explosions. Captain Richard Gurns, second before kissing lab assistants Muriel Hunter in the 81 DE film, The Kraken. Okay. In the years to come, many different attempts... Oh, this is the myth of the lost item. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's great. Okay. In the years to come, many different attempts to find the remains of the Sylvia Earle were made, but no fragment of the ship or any bodies were ever found. Over the course of 200 years, many different theories were suggested to explain the disappearances. Good. I like different theories. Always a good idea to have different perspectives, I think, when you're looking at something historical and mysterious, because not everybody's going to agree, right? Most experts at the time believed the ship was destroyed by strong ocean currents, but a vocal group has long supported the idea that the ship was instead destroyed by a sea monster they had disturbed with their studies. Okay, we're on an alien world. Something has a hold of the ship. I'm going to not rule out sea monster right away either. You never know, right? It could be they ran the ship aground on some coral or something, but, because we don't know what that meant, but based on the transmission, but I would not be ruling out sea monster, no. All right. In 81 DE, the movie The Kraken was released. In the story, early settlers and crew members of the DRS Silver Pearl disturb a kraken from old Earth in the course of their research. The film ends with the hero and his lover killing the kraken by detonating the remains of the ship, surviving on a piece of floating wreckage until they are picked up by a passing fishing vessel. Yeah, sounds like about 1 million disaster movies I've seen. The Silver Pearl, being a not-so-subtle reference to the Sylvia Earle, was not lost on audiences. Critics pointed out that even if the ship was destroyed by a large animal, there was no chance it could be the Kraken from old Earth, even if that creature had ever existed. That's true, but it could be something that superficially is very similar, right? Fans of the movie point out that the planet Deseret has the highest number of cephalopod species known to humankind. Cephalopods are the category that includes octopuses and squids and nautiloids and cuttlefish, for those of you who may not know the term, which I did know but was reminded of recently when I wrote my Apex Predator article, so that's cool, right? The highest number of cephalopod species known to humankind, and therefore the existence of something similar was not outside the realm of possibility. Okay, and knowing that fact, I'd be looking for a big octopus for sure. Right? The director pointed out that he didn't care as long as it sold well. Overall, the movie was a flop. That's hilarious. I love that little detail. That's great. Cool. Very cool. I love that. That's great. People are easily dismissing this idea that there's a lot of hints in there that they probably should take more seriously. And actually, I really like that. I really like that because I find that people often don't want to believe things they don't want to believe. So if it contradicts their narrative of what they would like to think is true, then they will accept any fragment of evidence that makes it possible that's not, right? So, and likewise if there's something they really want to be true. So that's a really good examination of human nature. It's historically interesting. I love the concept. Very well done. That's fantastic. Good work. What is your world? I don't think I'm following your world yet. Just a sec, I need to go back to the other screen so we can. There's the main. Okay. I might be. I've seen your world before. Oh, yes, this is the one. A planet settled predominantly by Mormon settlers. Well, that might be another reason why they don't want to admit to the idea of sea monsters, right? Okay, while I imagine a lore will evolve, the setting exists mainly to write out and explore the role and consequences of constitutions, laws, and urban development. That's really cool. Yes, I am following. Okay, good. Because that is neat. All right. Good stuff. All right. Now I'm going to catch up with the chat, hopefully. Dreaded Hero says, one story that I definitely want to tell in a post-apocalypse is how the first kind of new nation forms, if that makes sense, like Fallout 4. That's cool. Right on. And Nakati says, oh man, Gravity Falls was such a good show. Yeah. That seems like a good follow notification animation. Cool. Yeah. Okay, I did the hydrate thing, but I'll do it again, because it cannot hurt. Songbirds asked Zog how the AC is. Did your AC break? That's really crappy. And then, yay, books! Shy Red Fox says, woo, thanks for sponsoring, and thank you for sponsoring a prompt, Shy Red Fox. That's awesome. It was just something that was a big talk in the Inner Sanctum channel. Like, a couple of us were like, hey, a couple people, it wasn't me, I wasn't the first one to suggest the idea, but a couple people were like, hey, it would be really cool if we could sponsor something. Can we, give prizes to the contest? Can we sponsor a prompt book or something? The Inner Sanctum's like that. They're very devoted. I'm brand new to it, right? And they're such a good group of people who almost universally are absolutely dedicated to this community and making it a better place. And so, support their work, check them out, they're great, right? Great. Even if I disagree strongly with some people on some things, they're all really awesome people, and they come from all over the world, right? They're from everywhere. So it's great. But there was some talk, right? And then I think it was Janet got on and said, well, you guys could sponsor prompts if you wanted. And so a bunch of us were like, yeah, let's do that. So Songbird says, ha. Q says, that's really fine because I don't have any. Haha. Yeah, no, I don't have any criteria. I don't. Do I like it? Right? Do I think it's cool? Do I know what it is I'm looking for that? No, I have no idea. I put no judgment on it. I think it would be silly to have a list of criteria for World Anvil Worlds is so creative. And thank you for the posture check, Dreaded. Here, I'm actually gonna stretch because I'm bending over because I forgot my glasses like an idiot. I went to the optometrist, and I actually do need glasses. I have significant astigmatism, apparently. So this was a surprise to me, right? So that's cool, but couple weeks I gotta wait. So yeah, they're kind of an Aubrey Hepburn kind of 50s look thing. I don't know, like I didn't have a lot of options. I looked at it and I'm like, when did the 50s come back? Oh well, right? But my partner said they look good, so all right. Delan says, oh boy, I'm writing my birthday challenge in Estonian. I feel a bit sorry for that. No, really, it's cool. I am capable of using Google Translate. I'm not stupid, right? I don't know why more people don't use Google Translate. And I have, obviously the grammar isn't going to translate properly in most languages to English, right? So don't you worry about that at all. I have no problems looking at languages or articles in other languages. It's not going to hurt you a bit. Don't you worry, right? Thankfully, Google Translate is fairly good nowadays. There you go. See? Yeah, it is. It's actually really excellent. And you know what? Right? If I actually do get confused with anything because Google Translate made a botch up job of it, I'll ask you, because that's not fair. It's, you know, you should be able to compete in whatever language you want to compete in. I'm all for that. You bet. Okay, Verida Razel says the Sunday stream sounds good. I'm in if you are. Okay? Alright, cool. If you guys want to do that, that is what we'll do next week. Oh, highlighted message. eSongbird says, question, you inspired me to look at the letters of mark. Do you have any sources you'd recommend? You know, I never save my sources because I'm a dipshit, okay? Let me see what I can find quickly here. Example letters of mark. I just have pretty good Google Foo, and if I can't do it on Google Foo, then other people can too. Okay, so the key is to look at stuff that is actually historical, right? Because you will find a lot of stuff out there that is like for the SCA or whatever, right? And the SCA does a good job of trying to get a historical feel, don't get me wrong, but especially if you're looking for a particular culture, obviously going to get the details wrong because the culture is different within the SCA kingdoms, right? So I see a lot of stuff here. Let's try the other way too. Letters of mark example. Okay. So there's a sponsored link here. They're almost never the ones to look at, and it wasn't, so... Oh, wait a minute. Maybe it is. Alright, let's see. Oh, wow. Do we have, like, pictures? British Colonial Letter of Marque. Nope. This GeoCities page cannot be found. Okay, so don't look at this sponsored link at the beginning. Just a second. I'll show you what I'm seeing. Yeah, don't waste your time with this shit. Like this stuff here, because it just goes to a GeoCities site that no longer exists. Encyclopedia Britannica would be a great source, except they put everything behind a paywall so they can eat my butt. And like I said, this is a mature stream because I swear. Alright. Yes, also, if you're writing about kingdoms, do not look at the American examples. You will find American examples of letters of marque more easily than you will find anything else because Google is owned by Americans, right? But you will not, like, it doesn't properly convey royal language, obviously, since it was Congress that authorized letters of marque in the United States. And remember, at the time, this was a fairly new thing, right? The American Revolution hadn't been that long ago. So they were, in a way, doing what we're doing, right? Which is looking at older letters of marque and figuring out, well, how do I make this sound official, right, with the government that we have, right? So they're not good examples for kingdoms or empires or anything like that, right? They're still not a good example for documents of kingdoms or empires, even though they are an empire. but that's neither here nor there. Pirate documents, letter of marque? I don't know. Oh, wait a minute. Here we go. Here we go. There we go. This sounds like the thing. Research at mysticseaport.org. Letter of marque, privateer collection. American maritime documents. Yeah, not a good example for royal stuff, but still good examples of maritime documents. And as a matter of fact, this is so cool that I am gonna put that in my bookmarks because I will need that in the future, but that is not what I'm after right now. Okay. Okay, you never know. This is called piratedocuments.com. I don't know, do some skimming. I don't want to take up too much of the stream doing this, but yeah, there's my tips for ways to avoid bad sources, right? Like, the SCA probably isn't a good source. I mean, like, it's good to get a feel for the idea, but if you, say, want to get, like, an accurate sense of what the British Royal Navy would have issued, that's probably not the place to do it, especially because SCA doesn't quite go, like, it just kind of touches on the age of sail in the period that it focuses on, right? And it therefore, you know, there's probably not a lot of sources anyway, right? Don't do Renaissance fair stuff because they'll just make shit up, which is fun, but not what you're after, right? You know, yeah, and try to look for you know, I mean, like, if your government is like an elected Congress with a president, then, or anything similar to that, right, then the American sources are brilliant, right? And other than the way they start the address by whose authority this is done, the language is still pretty similar, but yeah. Okay. E. Songbird says, I think that a Sunday birthday stream would be helpful for you. Well, it would certainly help me. Yes, it would. Oh, you need to go back and watch him reading this. Kahuna? Yeah, I caught like the end of it and I laughed so hard I damn near fell out of my chair. I was like, that's amazing. He's like, you know, offer not included, you know, that whole voice. He's just got it down. I gotta get him. I was watching his stream before I came on, but I missed the beginning of the Megacorp article. Okay. Yeah, no one can do the Kahuna voices, says Q. He's right. Trended Hero says, oh yeah, recommend Wikipedia. Actually, okay, yeah, he's right. Okay, recommend Wikipedia, which is a good way of getting a good outline, but also check out pages of privateers and pirates as well. The cool thing about Wikipedia, right? Everyone's like, Wikipedia is a terrible source. Okay, you know what? Wikipedia lists its sources. You scroll down to the bottom of the page, right? Wikipedia gives you the overview, right? And then you go click on those sources, and then you have good historical research. So screw all you elitist types who disagree with Wikipedia. It's a good place to start, okay? There's my soapbox for the day. Verita Razel says, still working out how they party, but the birthday tradition itself is mostly worked out. All right, let's have a look. Ganaran birthday bashes. Traditional birthdays within the pirate superfleet of Piraganar are, tell me if I'm pronouncing that right, are slightly unusual in nature, as they celebrate not the member's birth into the world, but the member's birth as a crew member and new person. Oh, that's cool, okay. It can be a boisterous affair, as crew members applaud the celebrant for not getting themselves killed for a whole year, and enjoy a year spent together. Excellent. The actual dates of these birthdays are also unique to the gang, as they aren't always decided simply by their initiation to the crew, but may rather be the result of a reassignment. Fair enough. During the date reassignment process, some members choose to take on a new name as well, although this is a purely voluntary decision. I'm interested in your Gonarans, and I have questions, right? Pirate Superfleet of Piraganar, right? Hopefully I pronounced that right. You know what? I need to scroll down to the bottom of the chat and then scroll back. That's what I need to do. Okay, no, I don't know. So, wow, you guys been chatty. I'm so sorry because I'm reading. Okay. Okay, wow, after this I'm gonna like catch up on some chat. Okay. But yeah, I'm curious about the pirate super fleet and how it got started and why is it a super fleet and what is maintaining them logistically, because militaries are expensive, right? And okay, well, granted, if it's a pirate super fleet, I imagine that they just take stuff from other people, but then why are they not the government of like everything? So, anyway, just a thought, right? Okay, to be clear, I have questions, is the point I was trying to make. Right? To be clear, all crew members must have a reassigned birth date, as it is a tradition set by the founding leader in order to maintain camaraderie and community spirit, as well as allowing an avenue of inclusion for those having a harder time settling in. That makes sense, right? And it also makes sense that, nope, I don't care whether you like it or not, it's tradition, so you're gonna goddamn well do it, right? That is a very sailor mentality. Sailors tend to have their traditions. Most military units do, but sailors in particular, right, whether they're military or not, like fishing, they have, it's tradition, so it might as well be the, holy writ, right? And you're gonna do it. So that's great. Makes perfect sense, right? Um, Following leaders kept it up for a variety of reasons. It was in part because they agreed with the reasoning and allowed for them to treat those with unknown names and birth dates, or of more dire or private circumstances, with discretion. Okay, that makes sense too. Lots of people become pirates because they're running away from something, and it would be rude in that setting. Oh, wait, hold on here. My music is. I've totally forgot about my music. We need like seafaring music. Just a second. All right, I just kind of started tuning the music out in the background, but that sounded very. I have like seafaring music here somewhere. I actually have pirate music somewhere. Just a second. Hold on here. Let's try. Oh no, this one doesn't have any music, so it must be the other one. All right, so here's for the campy pirate music, okay? Okay. All right. Yeah, but it was largely because it had gained great favor amongst the crew, and they simply couldn't be bothered changing it. Makes sense. This does not mean that they have to throw away their original birth date. Simply, there's some minor grammatical mistakes, if you care, just letting you know, right? Because or typos, right? They have to throw away original birth date is what it says. Or their original birth date is probably what you mean there. I don't know, but if you don't care, ignore me, right? Um, Simply that it's considered more of a private affair. Indeed, one's initial birth date is considered incredibly personal and private, and asking after it without permission is a markedly rude offense, especially when the inquiring party is neither a child nor close to the member. Fair enough. If you're looking for style guidance as a writer, I don't know, again, if you are, right? And don't, feel free to ignore me, but there's a lot of redundancy in that paragraph. You say the same thing, not a lot, a little bit, right? You say the same thing the same way a couple, or different ways a couple of times, right? Now, I recognize that academic writing often sounds like that, and, the style here is generally, it's a Wikipedia article for your world, so I get it, but you may want to consider if you can, compress that a little bit into, but maybe not, right? Like I said, right? I'm just throwing this stuff out here because it's the feedback episode. Some people are here for writing guidance and some people are here for, idea guidance. Whatever works for you. Whoop, just, it's a suggestion. So take it, leave it. I'm not married to it. It's not the end of the world. It's actually really cool. I'm right into this idea. So, birth date reassignment. Birthdays may be reassigned when a member is trying to restart their life, when they prefer to hold on to their privacy, or when their actual birth dates are unknown. Yep, and all of these are entirely possible in a pirate crew. Some choose to hold on to their initial birth dates, but most choose to let them go, either through personal interest or because it's such a strong part of fleet's culture. They opt to respect the tradition or use it to settle themselves in. The process requires in Okay, sorry. The process requires many an eye-rolling joke, with crew members calling themselves children and quibbling over how young they are. That's cool. Hey, you're only 5 years old. What do you know about anything? Yeah, makes sense. I like it. The new date reassignments are chosen through one of three methods: personal choice, date one became an official crew member, or decided through a game. Awesome. Most birth date assignments are chosen through the third method. Cool. First, they decide upon the month with a deck of cards numbered up to 16. The cards are mixed randomly, and whatever card they pull out is matched to the corresponding month. 16-month year. Cool. That's interesting. That tells me that. Okay, pulling the 16th card warrants a re-round. Oh, 15-month year. Okay, and the deck must be reshuffled. That's interesting. Cool. Next, they flip a coin to decide whether the day will be an odd or even number. The coin sides may be represented by the crew member's choice and isn't restricted by tradition. This part is often replaced by any method with two main outcomes, though this does affect statistics. Fair enough. Lastly, the exact date is determined through the rolling of a 15-sided die. Alright, if a 15-sided die is unavailable, a 6-sided die is often used instead, in which case the first roll determines which third of the remaining days the last roll will be based on, and the last roll decides the day, with 6 being a reroll. Makes sense. I have resolved many things with Dungeons and Dragons dice. Polyhedral dice, yep. This process is almost always undertaken when drunk beyond belief. That makes sense? I could totally see an SCA group claiming to be pirates doing it this way and being the party place to be. Alright, a tiered system of celebration. While birthdays are a treasured and highly anticipated event, the degree to which they're celebrated are dependent upon milestones and may scale up with the celebrant's experience. Birthday celebrations within the fleet can be roughly categorized into 6 tiers, in ascending order. Private. Some crew members choose to celebrate their initial birthday, which is a private affair outside of tradition, and is undertaken as such. Minor. Celebrated annually from initiation and between milestones. They're celebrated with their legion. Medium. Celebrated every decade, including higher tiers, together with their squadron. Major. Held every 25 years, excluding higher tiers, they're celebrated with their battalion. Distinct. Held every 50 years, including the rare tier, the entire fleet joins in the celebration. Rare. In the unlikely event the celebrant makes it to 100 years of service, they'd have to be a really long-lived race, I would think. In addition to a fleet-wide celebration, the leader of the fleet is required to grant them a stash of specially brewed liquor? I don't know if you meant liquor or liqueur. It says liqueur. Liquor would be Liquor, right? But maybe you do mean liqueur. They used to make lots of liqueurs, like banana liqueurs, I'm sure, were invented by sailors, right? And either 10% of the year's earnings or a personal wish of less than or equal value, granted it be within their power, doesn't harm the fleet or its personnel, and doesn't breach what is considered human rights within Paragonair law. Cool. Fun and games. Okay. Yes. So you haven't made it there yet. Fair enough. But this is pirate games, right? So they probably get trashed and throw knives around and, arm wrestle or something. And chicken out your world. An eternal sea, a veil of jewels. That is how people refer to the world around them, the universe beyond them. Oh, nice. Okay. So it's like island worlds. Okay, so everything's about sailing. That's cool. It's just kind of starting out, eh? Cool. That's really neat. I'm going to check it out. So yeah, I like your concept. I think that's a lot of fun. I look forward to seeing it when you have the fun and games worked out, because I think I'll have a good laugh. And, definitely feel free to, throw it at me again when you got that done, because that's really cool. I like it so far, though. I think it's, pirate rebirth days. That's really kind of great. Very cool stuff. That's a great idea. I like that a lot. All right. Nakati wants to know if I read manga at all. I heard you ask that question in your stream, and I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to answer you because I was getting things ready. Not a lot, but some, right? I was a big Robotech fan back in the day, right? I like Full Metal Alchemist, right? Uh, I've seen, I've seen a few things, right? I had a friend who was really into the original Sailor Moon stuff, so I've seen all the, Japanese Sailor Moon stuff, which is nothing like the kids' cartoon that was shown here, right? So a few things, but not a lot of things, right? Okay, E Songbird says, nice. I don't know what that's in response to because it was ages ago. I'm sorry. Probably maybe the link. Nakati says, I have 2 series about witches you might really like. Well, definitely suggest them to me. I like anime. I loved, definitely suggest it to me because I'll definitely check it out for sure, right? I saw this, there's so many neat things out there. I really liked no, it wasn't Spirited Away, it was Princess Mononoke. Had a lot of stuff I would have recognized as neo-pagan symbolism in it, and I, I don't think that, I'm not sure that was one of his influences, but I was just fascinated with it. So yeah, I'm into witches. Absolutely, send me the stuff. I'm definitely gonna check it out. Okay. He Songbird says, thanks for that Easter egg, Q. He Songbird 24601. Yeah. You guys know it, right? Yeah, that was Jean Valjean's prisoner number in Les Miserables. So, all right. Nakati says, "Yeah, that was fun. There will be more of those." Oh, we're talking about the Megacorpolis article. Yes, I love Megacorpolis. I.e. kidnapping. Yep. I'd love to know more about how they get people to volunteer for it. Yes, I'm sure that's what it is. They're like, okay, you know what? This guy is a bit of a problem in the corporation. Let's volunteer him. That's probably how they do it. Knowing Q's world. Yeah. Dillian says, the way that Hefe pronounces mimetic is a mimetic info hazard. I have not heard how he pronounces mimetic, but I imagine that he must trip over that. That's great. Okay. You should hear me try to do things with multiple S's and T's. It's a nightmare. You don't want to hear it. Okay. Q says, it was also a great image of a man cowering in a cubicle. Yeah. Yeah. Right? The Matrix picture. Yeah, it was cool. Trended here. I agree with you. Trended Hero says, I recently wrote down this idea for these cartridges that people referred to as dead whispers because a lot of them only hold vocal recordings. And a lot of them in America are Soviet propaganda. Ooh, that's interesting. That is really interesting. Yeah, there used to be things for a brief time, and I think it was even late 80s technology, right, that would do that. It was like a cylinder, right, that you would like put it into like you could, it would record a limited amount of space, and I think it was a real thing at one point. I could be mixing this up with something else though, but neat. Yes. Dillian was agreeing that was a very fitting image. The Matrix image. Yep, my condition. Oh, and Danny's hosting me. Hi, Danny. Hi, Danny people. Thank you for joining me. That's really awesome. I'm sorry we're so, way back here in the chat. I'll catch up the chat before I look at more articles. Q said, and we're back to cannibalism. Yep, killed and eaten. Right? That's from the Megacorpolis article. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. E. Songbird says, Sewer Gator Motivator has a nice ring to it. It does. Yep, his apex predator, Q confirmed. Flashbacks from taking the subway in the capital. Yeah, I imagine, eh? Probably is really creepy. I don't think I've ever been in a subway. I've been on the SkyTrain in Vancouver. I don't think I've ever actually been in a subway. So, I've been in a mining museum deep underground. I have been you know, in some pretty long tunnels. I have not been on a subway. I imagine it gets oppressive. Danny laughs. It looks different from the one I read, he says. Yep. You read about the people running the place, says Q. Yeah, the Monday task force. Right? Danny says, Megacorpolis is fun. I agree. I love Megacorpolis. I just think it's hilarious. And Q thanked me for reading it. Well, of course, you're welcome. Yeah, Nakati said hard T. Okay, for Deseret. So I did have it right. Oh, and Trended Hero has sent me a link. I'm gonna quickly catch up the chat, Trended Hero, and then we're gonna look at your article. Okay? Right? E Songbird said thanks for the ideas to Trended Hero. Nakati says, my apex predator is a giant fisher bat species that acts like a giant eagle. Holy shit, I don't want to be anywhere near that. That, you'd be walking along. I saw this camera thing at one point, right? It's like an eagle's nest, and they were looking at the egrets, right? And there was an owl that had decided to attack them, right? And there they are, you know, you can see them because it's infrared, right? And they're just sleeping. They're doing their thing, and all of a sudden there's like, you know, they're relaxed, this cute little fuzzy, you know, and all of a sudden there's like, claws! You know, and they're like, ah! You know, freaking out, right? I just imagine that in the dark, and you can't see what is at you, and all of a sudden there's like ripping pain, and you know there's claws, and there's these big wings, and oh my god, I was just so horrified for the poor little eagles. I have way too much ability to imagine what other people feel like sometimes, and I was like, or animals even, and I was like, wow, that's horrible. That would be like that. Flying fisher bats, I think. Yikes. Dying. Sable, here's what I just heard. Because I'm a Canadian, I always think a... we would spell that E-H, right? If you see E-H in anything the Canadians write, that's what we mean. A. Canadian A, right? You know, because it's not really an A, you know, it's like more like an A, you know, A, right? So, yeah, it's, yeah, but I think that because I'm used to the French, right? Desiree is how that would have been pronounced in French, right? So, but yeah, I assumed Deseret because Nakati is clearly into kinetic imagery and linguistics, so that's cool. Nakati says, there is a satellite system, but it's not foolproof. Sure, that makes sense. I imagine that if they... Yeah, because I was talking about, is there satellite systems for GPS or, you know, in this new world that was explored, right? Yeah, I can see how that would be, right? First of all, they haven't been there as long as they have been on Earth, so not every spot is covered. Excuse me. Secondly, if there were opposing governments, they might not share information to each other. Third, there's all kinds of space hazards, like, you know, random shit takes out our satellites all the time, you know, solar flares screw them up, radiation wears at their circuits, like, you know, rarely, but sometimes they run into each other, sometimes, like, asteroids hit them, sort of, you know, meteorites. So fair enough. Danny says, very cool, Scribe. Yep. I'm so happy to see a space vehicle in the last one. Yeah, I'm happy to see some hard sci-fi stuff too, right? I write science fantasy mostly, right? My stuff will usually have elements of technology and fantasy in it, but I am also a dedicated science fiction fan, and I love to see it, right? I'm always interested in seeing more of it, so very cool. Yeah. Trunded Hero's migraine is gone! Yay! Right? Oh, and we have like the whole squid emote here from Daddy, which is perfect because we were talking about possibilities of giant cephalopods in the water, so that's great. Yeah. Yes. Yes, if you would like to drop a link to your main world, go ahead. I should have done that, but I did not. But please do. That's for Nakati, for Deseret. E Songbird says, you follow the world after the homeward door, which is how I found the article. Okay. Yes. There we go, and he put the link. Oh, I'm sorry, you redeemed a posture check like ages ago, Q, and I'm just getting it now. Thank you very much. Yeah, and then the link to the world. Good. Definitely check it out. I thought it was very cool. Yeah. Nikati says like 90% of articles are set to private. Well, it's your experiment world. That's your right. It's cool to learn the history of the prompts. Yeah, I think so too, but yeah. Oh, another posture check. Thank you. You are all awesome and amazing, says True Undead Hero. I agree, you are all awesome and amazing. Danny says, woo, Kidlet's getting her glasses exam tomorrow, so you'll be glasses buddies. Gonna look great. Well, that's cool. Feel free to, like, get her to, like, if you're watching, right, and you're here, let me know that your kidlet is watching, and I'll talk about my experience with being a new glasses wearer too, right? And then, maybe, it's a change. Kids don't like that. They sometimes feel really uncomfortable. Maybe we can, maybe I can help her out with that. So, yeah. Glass buddies. Yeah, agreed. Oh, hydrate. Okay. Thank you, Q. I need it. Danny says, very good point. Maybe look for documents held in museum collections from Europe. There are images, and there are also sites that have transcribed the texts of letters of marks, so you can, like, look at it. But I unfortunately I'd have to it'd probably take me about half an hour to find a good source, and I don't want to do that in the feedback stream. That would not be good. So, yeah. Skip US resources, no DSCA. Okay, fair enough. Oh, WD Michael's here. Hey, what's up, man? Nice to see ya. Right on. Yeah, thanks for coming. Check out his channel if you haven't already, because he's fun. I just, he does his thing. He talks, he reads articles. He, does his own work, hosts sprints. He's great. Saying hi to the campers, having a good stream. I'm having a great time. I hope everybody else is too. This is a lot of fun. I get to look at other people's articles today, so this is good. Yeah. Q says Wikipedia is great. Fight me. I agree. You know what? I'm old enough to remember, right? If you wanted to research a book, I've talked about this before, but what you had to do, right? Okay, I want to research letters of marque. Okay, so first I have to go to my local library or, and search through their microfiche catalog, right, to see if I can find books on piracy. Then to see if any of them actually cover documents on letters of marque. I might actually have to cross-reference that to, things like the British Royal Navy or the American colonial, or, the early American Revolutionary Navy or something like that, right? Then I would have to guess based on the cataloging data of the book whether or not it was going to actually serve my needs. Then I would have to request it. Then I would have to wait for it to come in, which would usually take at least 2 weeks. Then I would get it. Then I would look at it to see if it actually covered what I wanted it to cover. And then maybe I'd have to order more books after that. And then I could write about the letter of marque, right? So screw you all. Google and Wikipedia all the way, okay? Yeah. Burrito Razel says, sorry, I'm still writing the Fleet article. No, that's cool. That's great. It's not, it wasn't a critique to say I had questions. It was more of a comment on, this is interesting and I would like to know more, right? And that's good. When you're writing, right, you want people to want to know more. That is how you keep the reader's engagement, right? You keep them by making them want to know what happens next, or what is going on behind the scenes here, or what is this thing all about, right? So it's actually good, right? Just make sure you put that article link in there when you've written the article so that people can check it out, because I would have went down that rabbit hole, right? And that could lead me all over your site, and then I'm there for a while, right? And then I'm following your world. So, yeah. The Superfleet is above the law organization. Well, I guess so, eh? A pirate superfleet would definitely be above the law. Who the hell would attack them, right? Maybe they've got, like, protection rackets with local ports, Maybe they've got arrangements with some of the local governors of different port colonies so that they can bring in contraband and stuff like that, and in return they leave that port alone, stuff like that, right? Maybe they're blackmailing people, they've got secrets on people in power. I'm definitely looking forward. That's very cool. Oh, hey, DN Stretch is here. Hello, welcome. Sorry it took me so long to say hi. Well, I was going to stream earlier, but that didn't happen, he says. My sofa got a little too comfy, not long woken up. That's okay. It was actually a busy morning as far as streaming go. Both Nakati and Kahuna saw that there was a big gap between the last streamer and Esong, or myself, right? And then Esongberg's after me, by the way, that's where we're going next. But so actually they ended up kind of overlapping each other anyway, unintentionally. And so yeah, it's probably just as well, right? So Frida Rizal says, I'm fine with writing guidance. It helps. Thank you. Okay, well, cool. If it helps you out, great. If it doesn't help you, just ignore me, right? And that goes for everybody. Just ignore me, right? Take what you want from what I have to say. There's no judgment. We're all using World Anvil for different reasons, right? Maybe you don't want to be a writer, right? Maybe you're doing it because you're a game master. Maybe you're doing it because you just want to create a world because you think it's cool. You know what? There's a guy named Olaf Stapledon, and that was his whole shtick. He wrote classic science fiction books in the 20s and 30s, right? I think more 30s than 20s, but I think there were some in the 20s, and that's all they are. It's just like world building in a narrative, right? It's kind of like reading Gulliver's Travels, only it's like science fiction. It's very interesting. Yeah. Is it Olaf Stapledon I'm thinking of? No, wait a minute, because Olaf Stapledon also wrote Sirius. Okay, but there's a couple, if I've got the right guy. Now I have to look it up. Just a second. I will look it up too, because I read it in an imprint. There we go. There's the site that I go to. Okay. Where was it? Because it was, yes, I was right. Olaf Stapledon. There's a book called Last and First Men. Here, I will show you. You guys want one of the premier world builders, right? The guys who paved the way for us, okay? Last and First Men, a story of the near and far future, right? A work of unprecedented scale in the genre, it describes the history of humanity from the present onwards across 2 billion years and 18 distinct human species, of which our own is the first and most primitive. Stapledon's concept of history is a repetitive cycle with many varied civilizations rising from and descending back into savagery over millions of years, but is also one of progress as the later civilizations rise to far greater heights than the first, right? The book anticipates the science of genetic engineering and is an early example of the up-to-now fictional supermind, a consciousness composed entirely of many telepathically linked individuals. Published 1930. So, there's one of his books. He also did a thing about, Star Maker, right? This is another book that he did, right? This 1937 successor to Last and First Men offers another entrancing speculative history of the future. The story details the mental journey of an unnamed narrator who is transported not only to other worlds, but also other galaxies, intelligent star clusters, mingles among alien races, and continues on to parallel universes until he eventually becomes part of the cosmic mind. So, yeah, if you're looking for one of our progenitors as world builders, good stuff. Yeah. Songbird says, lots of good streams today. Yes, there were. I was watching as many as I could before I started streaming. And I will be watching Songbird too. So, strongly recommend going and watching Kahuna. Kahuna is awesome. I do have to agree. When he reads articles, he does voices. They're hilarious. And he's fun. Nakati is also cool though, right? So do not discount Nakati. He is clearly a guy with, and I know he's probably still in the chat, right? So, okay, so he was in the military. He's made that clear, and he learned quite a few things from that. He also appears to be pretty widely read on a lot of subjects and has intelligent things to say about a lot of historical and culture-based information. So, you want to flesh out your world building, there's a place to go, right? He's good. Right, so, and don't you worry, by the way, like, I don't say anything that I won't own. I would have said that whether you were here or not, Nakati, so just so you know. Okay. Verita Razel says, thank you for your feedback. Glad you liked it. It's cool. It's a cool idea. I like that rebirth day idea very much. DM says, I was going to do a bit of World Anvil summer camp, then have a game mess around, but after sleeping on the sofa for about 3 hours, I won't be sleeping anytime soon. I might, emphasis on might, do it after your stream, eSongbird. Keep eSongbird informed so that they know that they can raid you afterwards. Scribe, Nakati says, there are 2 series I think you would really like. The Ancient Magus' Bride and Witch Hat Atelier, okay, or Atelier, either way. See, I see I see I-E-R at the end of a word, and I think French again. So, because that's me. Okay. So now I have those in my, because I'm closed down the stream, I'm probably not going to see the chat again for a while, so I've just made sure to put that where I can look at it later, and thank you for the suggestion, Nakati. I appreciate it. Okay, Kajitan's here. Hi! How to say when 2 organizations compete to find an object. A race between? Yes, a race, a competition, a war, an aggressive pursuit. I don't know, there's lots of different things to say. eSongbird says that's where I'd go. Arms race with US and USSR. Q says meme tech. Yep, meme tech is cool. Danny says to eSongbird, yeah, I missed that stream earlier, was hoping to catch it today. Q, meme tech is an aggressive AR marketing campaign, right? Yep. It might be, says Q. Mimetic tech is kind of outlawed in Megacorpolis after an overabundance of fake news caused a break in consensus reality. You mean like right now in 2020? Yeah, okay. Verita Razel, says, I'll just say, Verita. Let's say Verita, and correct me if I'm wrong. Okay. There's a sandwich shop called Subway, but when I was a kid, I only knew subways as an underground train system. So when my dad took me to one, I was really confused as to why we were there. Fair enough. Yeah. You know what? I wonder how old you are, because I remember a similar conversation with my son. So that's interesting, right? I was really confused as to why we were there, how the small building had when and since when Australia had them. Yeah, how small they were. Yeah, right. When he came out with sub-style sandwiches, I was all the more baffled. My head was doing flips. Yeah, fair enough, right? Yeah. 200 Hero says to eSongbird, I have an article on Letters of Marque if you want to check it out. Yes, he does. I should have thought of that. You should definitely post the link in the chat if you've not done so already. Okay. eSongbird says to Verita, I had a similar experience growing up after the 9/11 attacks. I didn't understand the difference between tourist and terrorist. Oh, that's awful. Oh, yikes. Okay, there was a news segment talking about tourist traps in New York City, and I was so baffled about how I was the only one that figured out where the terrorists were. Oh, that's amazing. Okay. Yeah, totally. Oh, thank you for the bits, Q. Right on. Thank you so much. And Darth Nicholas has followed me. Welcome, Darth Nicholas. Thank you for the follow. That's awesome. There is also Garth Vader, who is a regular viewer of the chat. Not quite the same as Darth, but that's cool. I love it. Welcome. No, I will not forget your article, Tyranid Hero. I promise you. Marbad. I see. Siobhan is studying Celtic. I'm not. If I'm pronouncing things wrong. Marv. Which one is the V sound? Probably the middle one. Marvad. Okay. Oh! MKJ followed me. Thank you very much for the follow and welcome to the channel. That's awesome. Yeah, we're doing, I'm catching up on the chat, and then we're gonna do a feedback on True Undead Heroes article. So, yes, please, can you put it on the Discord and tag me? Okay, fair enough. That was for True Undead Hero, about the letters of mark. That was, so I can read it while chat is still getting caught up. Good, you did post the link. Excellent, yes. Definitely check out his article. It's very well researched and well written. True Undead Hero is studying to be a historian, and he does some really good work in terms of his historical research for his settings. So I definitely recommend that you check out his stuff if you're looking for ways to do it well. Right? Dinosaur Bob says, okay, real life distractions dealt with, back to streams. Cool, welcome back. Alright. Sable is getting caught up on the stream. Yes, I'm getting caught up in the chat, trying to. Yeah. Danny says, giggling about that word mix-up with you, Songbird. Can relate. Dinosaur Bob, there's a guy named Jules something or other that did that in the 1800s. I don't know, were you talking about the world building? The whole book is world building, and are you talking about Jules Verne? Right? Definitely read Jules Verne too, of course, but yes. Oh, and H.G. Wells. Yeah, I know, right? That's very true, right? I don't think it was quite to the same extent as Stapleton, though, right? Like, I've read pretty much everything that Jules Verne and H.G. Wells have ever written because they're fucking amazing, right? And still are just as cool today as they were when they were written. But, and are foundational to the science fiction genre. If you're going to understand science fiction, I really believe you have to read them, right? So, there's my advice to literary critics, okay? Because literary critics piss me off. And the reason why they piss me off is because they keep going, oh, this is such an original idea. It's so amazing. And the only reason why they think it's original is because they wouldn't read the people who had originally done it when they wrote it, because they went, oh, science fiction, you're genre fiction, you're beneath me. I read only highbrow fiction. And then, you know, somebody like Margaret Atwood or Cormac McCarthy takes tropes that have been done 100,000 times by science fiction writers, writes it into their own style, and because they're considered literary fiction, all the literary critics are, you know, look, I loved the Mad Adam trilogy, don't get me wrong, and I loved, well, okay, well, I did not love The Road, actually. I did not love that book. I did not enjoy that book. It was not my favorite, right? But a lot of people do like it. So, you know, your mileage may vary, but it's not original. It's not. Everything she wrote about has been done before. I've read like at least 20 books about every idea she had in there. From genetic engineering, you could trace that back to the island of Dr. Moreau. It's not original, I'm sorry. Anyway, it's just a big, you know, the science fiction ghetto gets to me. Anyway. Alright. Okay, I'm going to see how much more chat. Oh my god, there's still a lot. Okay, just a sec here. Okay, Dinosaur Bob says, oh, the sarcasm didn't show through with the Jules something or other. Yeah, okay. Sorry. No, it didn't, it's text. Sometimes that goes over people's heads. It obviously went over mine, I'm sorry. E. Songbird says, loves the historical... damn it. Okay, just a second here. Okay, good. Go away now. Okay, now. Sorry. Okay. E. Songbird says, love the historical feedback Nakati gives. Yes, it's really good. It's really useful. Says, it's really cool. I learn something every time. Me too, actually. And I read a lot. And especially about that subject. So, always happy to learn more. Right? So, definitely check it out. That's Scribe of Nakati's stream, by the way. So, yeah. Kajitan said thank you, so I don't know what that was in response to. Sorry. There's the bits. Okay, so we're catching up. Tourist, terrorist, just a small difference. It sounds very much the same when you're saying it really quickly, though, especially to a child. Oh, hey, Atanshi, welcome! Oh, wow! That is awesome! Thank you, Danny! That is great! I got a community sub, 5 tier 1 community sub gifts. Thank you so much. How generous of you. You're amazing. Thank you. That's great. All right. Nice to see you, Itanshi. I see your tentacle. Welcome. Dinosaur Bob says, Londoners enjoy fooling Americans with subway versus underground. But that's okay, because I'm Canadian, and so I understand anyway. Itanshi says, fun. Darth Nicholas says, I'm glad I finally caught one of your streams. I'm glad you did too. I'm glad you're here. Welcome. Itanshi says, can't order food in an underground. Nope. No. Or maybe, I suppose. Songbird says, also couldn't understand how someone could attack a pentagon. And why a pentagon and not a triangle? That's amazing. Yes, people need to explain this shit to kids more, right? Okay. Dinosaur Bob says, subway is an under busy street crosswalk. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, right. There are cities that we have those a lot in Canada, especially cities that get a lot of like cold wind, right? Winnipeg has a lot of them. I found that a lot of the more like Ontario, like I haven't really been through, I kind of went through Toronto as fast as I could get, but I went to Ottawa and they had some too, right? They have like covered walkways that are sealed indoors, sometimes over streets, and then there'd be the underway. Or in Montreal, there were a lot of underpasses, right, in, you know, off ramps from the highway, right, instead of overpasses like there tend to be in Western Canada, right, which I found very confusing and difficult to navigate when I was in Montreal. I was terrified driving the whole time. But yeah, an under busy street crosswalk. Sensible. There's a couple of those in Vancouver too. Yeah. Danny says to Dinosaur Bob, Jewel something or other, them books my jam! Mine too. Science fantasy by nowadays, right? Okay. Best literary critic impression ever. Thank you. Somebody else has a big chip on their shoulder about the science fiction, genre fiction ghetto, I take it? I do, I have a big chip, right? You know, you guys aren't as smart as you think you are, okay? Read more other things, okay? Literary fiction is a genre. I like it. It's a good genre, but it's a genre. It's the same as any other genre. It has its own conventions and its own language. You know, it isn't higher fiction. Sorry. I don't think it is. Okay. Q is agreeing. Yes, thank you so much for the awesome gift subs. I really appreciate that, Danny. That is amazing. You are so cool. Alright, yeah, secondhand, Akimoto's, Lorraine. Lorraine is here. I didn't even see you yet. Songbird and Delian. Brilliant. Thanks, Scott. Thank you. You're amazing. That is so cool. Okay, no, I still haven't forgotten about your article, Trended Hero. Am I caught up? I'm caught up. Okay, good. Everyone's like, I love this community, best community. I agree with you completely. Yep. Nicest place on the internet. World Anvil community, right? Twitch Writers Network is also really cool, by the way. We have a few of the Twitch Writers Network in here as well. I see you, Itachi. I see you, Daddy. You know, I know you guys are here. Bobicus, right? Yeah. MKJ says, yeah, I started mingling 3-4 days ago, and I'm extremely impressed with this community. It's amazing how fast things get done. Back to our original concept, right? When you cooperate, right? When you cooperate, things get done. I have never seen anything like this streaming calendar come together so fast. I've never seen it. I have a lot of experience working in non-profit groups and volunteer stuff, organizing festivals and events, and I've been on a board of directors for a Wiccan church group, and I have never seen anything that has been so well efficiently and generously organized. Seriously, I've not. So, like, fantastic. And that's because this community is so healthy and so encouraging. So, yeah. All right. Danny says, long since accepted the critics have a very narrow lane of reading where I hoppity hop to genres all over the place because possibilities. If I can't make it as a writer, oh yep, Itanchi says he's lurking. Cool, thank you. Yeah, if I can't make it as a writer, I'm gonna start a career as a literary critic. Only I'm going to critique like everything. So, yeah. Yeah, World Anvil and Twitch Writers Network hype, says Danny. Agreed. Titanchi says, yeah, well done. Yeah, it was. It was really cool. I wish I could... I kind of watched other people like Kahuna and Shy Red Fox working on it, and I was like, can I help? You know? So I'm going to be doing publicity, by the way. Like, that's one of the jobs. Me and Laura Bones, we're going to be doing that. So there's going to be a social network, right? Notice the... no, other way. See? Notice the cool badge? That's for the Anvilite streamer core. Right? And if you stream anything to do with World Anvil at all, right? Go to our website, join up. East Songbird says, we're stepping on top of each other for the next 2 weeks. Yes, it's true, right? There's a stream I'm not going to get a lot of love for tomorrow night because 6 to 9 p.m. it's Pacific time. It's my role-playing stream. I do a Pathfinder game in my Toy Soldier Saga universe, and I'm streaming at the same time as, I think, Danny, actually, and she's doing World Anvil stuff, right? So I'm not going to get a lot of love for it for a while, and that's okay. You know, that's really fine. Like, she's doing stuff that's more on topic to what we're doing, so... Oh. And it isn't on the schedule. Maybe they didn't think it was relevant enough to put it on the schedule. So, which is fair enough. I mean, because it's... Oh, no, there we are. Oh, no, why is that on Tuesday? Okay, no. That should be on Monday. Something's wrong there. I better fix that. But it should be over here. Okay, actually, so this is a nice... Okay. You might want to look at what I'm talking about, right? Okay, there's the calendar. This is where it should be. But instead it's over here. So, okay. And then, oh, and Greg was in that slot too. So, yeah. Yeah, don't, yeah, we're gonna... And there's no real way to avoid it because there's only so many hours in the day, right? So, try not to stream on each other. That's why I settled on this spot for this stream, because it was kind of whenever I felt like it on the weekend if I had time. Oh, thank you. Oh, okay. Posture check. Itan, she says, might just link to that instead. Yeah, fair enough. Generously organized. Love that phrasing. It's so true. Well, we're trying very hard to be respectful of each other, make sure everybody gets included, right? We're trying really hard not to overlap if we can avoid it, right? It's just the consideration is so cool. I've never seen anything like it so efficiently like this. Like, it's giving me restored hope in human nature because I've done a lot of these nonprofit groups and I've dealt with a lot of problem people and issues within them, right? I had kind of decided I was going to do my own thing and give up on that kind of stuff, but I'm changing my mind here. Well, obviously I did change my mind because I got involved with the Streamer Core, right? And the Twitch Writers Network. I'm with them too, right? And it's restoring my faith in human nature. It's amazing. So, E Songbird says, okay, no, already said that. Darth Nicholas says, I'm madly in love with this community and I haven't even been here a month. I know what you mean. I've been a member less than a year myself. I joined December 2019. It was my present to myself for doing NaNoWriMo in a personal record time. And now I'm an Inner Sanctum member, and you will have to drag me out of here with my corpse, because I'm not leaving. It's so cool. Right? Yeah. Love all around. Daddy says it's still Monday. Oh, okay, right, but it's like late night Monday in... Because it's... right, because it's GMT. I'm sorry, I'm an idiot. AJ Auditory is here. Hi, AJ. Nice to see you. Glad you could join me. Yes, reminders, it's GMT. Thank you, I'm an idiot. It's cool. I have dyscalculia. Time is not my strong point. So, okay. The World Anvil campfire brings light to many shadows. Yes, it does. Yeah, lots of love all around. E. Songbird says, this is my second month, joined after Cow. Cool, Cow, Circle of World Builders, right? And we're calling it CowCon now because that's the thing. But yeah, well, cool. So glad. See, now, this is why you do collabs, okay? Because E. Songbird said, discovered great GM first and found a home here. Yeah, exactly, right? If you're doing similar things, right? Then, and this is something that both the Twitch Writers Network and the Streamer Core understand, right? If you're doing similar things, your audience, right, is also going to be interested in other things that are like that if they stuck with you, right? So if you share your efforts and combine to lift each other up, right, your fans will never get angry at you for suggesting other people who are doing cool shit, right? They won't, right? It works that way in everything. Writing, creative, everything. AJ says, how's my prompt writing going? I am woefully behind. I just finished my 7th prompt yesterday, like last night. And Nikati went over it for me in his stream today. I'm kind of panicking now, but it's okay. I can catch up still. I have done worse, so I will be all right. But thank you for asking. Danny says, you should have seen me when I was trying to figure out why I was supposedly streaming at 2 a.m. Oh, good to know it's not just me. E. Songbird says, so World Anvil has been diagnosing me with so many new diagnoses. World Builder's disease, perhaps? Yeah. E. Songbird says, how am I doing? Not well. Too busy in chat. Me too. I'm in everybody else's streams, and then I'm like, oh, I'm going to put the stream on in the background and lurk and work on my prompts, and then I get involved in the conversation because it's just too interesting. Okay. Trended here says, Hug, she said I'm a historian. No one has called me that yet. Normally it's nerd. Well, you know what? Historian is a brand of nerd. I'm a nerd too. I'm proud of it. Thank you. So, AJ says, don't worry, I'm further behind you. I only have one done. Alright. Marva, according to the source I used, is his article. Alright, and now we are caught up in the chat. So let us go back and find his link. I know it's here. There it is. Nope, that's the article for letter mark. Doo-doo-doo. There, nope. Did I overshoot? Nope, I didn't. I know what I'm doing now. There it is. Okay, so here we go. And thank you for your patience, Trended Hero. You're awesome. So let's have a look. Marba. Part of his Nova Atis homepage setting. Okay, Nova Atis is like a very interesting take on the Age of Sail, where the New World is full of Fae. Alright. 'Twas the finest spear to ever grace... Oh, no, you know what? I'm sticking with this music. It still works. It's nautical music. Okay. 'Twas the finest spear to ever grace Faran. A blade which cut so deep it would wound one's soul, and held such strength that not even giant's wrath could bend its birth. The Legend of Banre. Marba, also referred to as the Spear of Slaughter, was the spear of legendary Wraither King Banre. Banra? Damn Siobhan and her Celtic suggestions. But Celtic is appropriate. Material and components. Marba is a 7-foot-long spear. Its handle is made of sturdy ironwood, cool, found on Mysterious Island Unnamed, cool, with a fine red cord and multicolored beads. The wood of the handle has runes carved in it that are from an older, forgotten tongue. Its tip is made of obsidian, cool, which has been chipped away, smoothed, and polished to a fine shine, and held onto the handle with a bronze tip. Okay, yeah, the pommel is also bronze, shaped into a spiral with a blunt end. And then you've got a really cool picture here in the sidebar, which really gives a good visual of what you were trying to say. That's excellent. I like the fact that it's obsidian, because that suggests, and obsidian and bronze suggests something really, really old, right? Obsidian could have easily, I mean, you make obsidian by flint knapping, right? So that part could have been made in the Stone Age, right? And it could have been lashed on originally with stuff, right? But the bronze suggests that it might have been made in the early Bronze Age, or that it was like repaired at some point. If it was older than that, it doesn't have to be, but it could have been made in the Stone Age is the point, right? So it implies that this is an ancient thing that has been around a long, long time, and that is very cool. Lore. Creation. According to the sagas, Marba was formed over a period of 2 years. Its ironwood handle took 1 year to shape, as it had come from the oldest and thus strongest ironwood tree in all of Faran. Its obsidian tip took another year, as it came from the heart of the volcano on Island Unnamed, and had to be chipped, carved, sharpened, and polished over the course of a year to ensure it was perfectly shaped. Wow, that's cool. Though it is believed to have been created by Ban-Ra, no sage actually tells of who created it or through what methods it was made. That's a bit contradictory though, right? Because you said that according to... Oh wait, no records. Okay. Oh no, but there's got to be a saga. There's got to be something that tells us that the ironwood handle came from the strongest ironwood tree in all of Faran, and that the obsidian came from the heart of the volcano. It could be... Something has to do it, right? It could be an oral tradition, right? It could be a, maybe somebody found a mural somewhere, right? Like on a wall, right? But you know that, right? You're a historian. You know, we have to have gotten this idea from somewhere. So where, that's my only question, is where did the idea come from if there's no saga that says... Or does saga mean something else in your world? Is saga like... Whoop, did that again. Okay, is saga like a historical record in your world? Because... in that case, you're right. That makes sense, right? But, just... That's my only critique. Otherwise, I think this is really cool. I'll finish reading. Current location. According to the sagas of Ban-Ra, Banrath, or is that the intended as the F? No, Banrath, I think. Marba was burned with Banrath deep within his tomb, though the tomb's location has since been lost to time. Excellent. Excellent. That's really cool. Weapon type, weapon melee. Current location, the New World. Weight 3 pounds, 1.4 kilograms. Yeah, that sounds about right for... and 7 feet in length, 2.1 meters. Good work. No, I really like this idea. It definitely has a strong Celtic feel to it, right? Like I would know instantly upon, hearing the description that this is something from the ancient Celts, and I think that's really awesome. So, yeah, it's cool. It's good work. I love it. And I like the fact that you didn't, see, you're smart in that you kept your article fairly short. You said everything you need to say in that short description, which is awesome, right? I am nowhere near as good at this, and I admire your ability to do it. So good for you. All right, we're going back down to the bottom of the chat. Excuse me. All right. Okay. Yeah, AJ Auditory says, don't worry, I'm further behind than you. I only have one done. I feel for you, and good luck. So, that's, I hope that works out for you. I would be in a screaming panic right now, but, so I admire your, but I would still be doing it, don't get me wrong. I would actually still do it, because I just be a little better about being brief, right? My last 5 challenges will all be like the minimum 300 words, Might end up doing that anyway, right? I don't know. Okay. Okay. Alright, I got it. So, good. Songbird says, one of the things I like about Sable's streams is how she includes herself into the stream community. Interesting. Okay, well, yeah, we're all in this together, right? And we gotta help each other out. Who else is gonna? Oh, more bits! Thank you, Q! Right? Oh, wow, you're so sweet. Thank you so much. That's so awesome. You guys are great. So cool. Q, you're amazing. So cool. Right, Songbird asks True Undead Hero, did your meta article get featured in Cow? Right, and DM says to Songbird, just booked a stream after you. And so she will send people his way. I think it's his. I believe it was he. If it's they or she, please correct me. Right? So DM says, I booked 1 hour to work on the prompts. I may stream after that playing a game, see how things go. Cool, okay, so definitely check that out. Right? DM says to True Undead Hero, I like how the picture of the spear is a believable shape, not overdone fantasy type. Looks good. Yes, actually, that is definitely worth mentioning. I will go back to the page so you can take a look at this lovely spear. There we go. Right? That looks like a spear. You know? It will stab things. It's got a fairly common leaf blade idea that is designed like that. That design catches, right, when you pull things out, right? So it'll go in and it might cause like a fairly like simple, as far as getting stabbed goes, which is never fun, but a simple wound going in and then coming out, it's going to tear shit, right? That's nasty. So that is a spear that is intended to kill things, right? Boar spears are shaped like that a little bit, right? So, and that's why you don't want a boar trying to run up your spear, trying to kill you after you stabbed it, because they're freaking dangerous. So also would be useful against bears, right? So that's a spear that means business. It's probably a hunting spear as well as a weapon of war, right? It's a very well designed idea. I agree with you, DM, that's really a selling point for me. Did you draw this, by the way, Trended Hero? Because it's cool. Alright. Still working on the lore, says Trended Hero. That's cool. That's cool. You don't have to have it all done right now. This is summer camp. You have to have the framework of the idea, right? You can finish it later. When you do finish it, definitely show me, because I'm behind it. That's cool. Right? Dinosaur Bob says, just me or did stream freeze? It may have. I have a million tabs open. I have 2 different music programs open, and my virus scanner decided to run in the middle of the damn stream. Clearly I'm going to have to change whenever I had it scheduled for, right? So it could be that my memory card is going, can't cope! Which I don't blame it, because I'm miserable to it. So, sorry about that. Okay. Songbird said, no streams issues for me, although I just got a welcome to the chat room message, so maybe something happened. Yeah, it's possible I lost signal for just a second because my processor could not cope. I apologize for that. Dinosaur Bob says, it was me. Okay, good. Still have my chat history, which usually disappears when things refresh. Yes, we have the ethnos. What is going on here? The ethnos wheel doing that. Good question. And bits are awesome. Thank you so much for the bits. Okay. And MKJ says, I started 3 days ago. Just finished my 7th an hour ago. Holy shit, I'm impressed. Good for you. You're amazing. I wish I was this good. Trying to get my brain ready for the next one, the one with the rank. The rank was actually the easiest thing to come up with for me because I'd already invented it when I wrote my my item article. So, because it was a crown. Okay. Trended Hero says, also in this, the sagas are a combination of historical and mythological record. Okay, so they are a different thing in your world. Sagas are records. Okay. That are interpreted from the iconographic and runic text. Think Norse runestones. Okay, that makes sense. So none of the sagas contains information on this. This is all kind of oral tradition or folk myth or something like that, right? Makes sense. Okay, perfect then. You got her. That's great. Okay, E Songbird says, meant to say chat conversation. Yeah, it's okay. Nikati cheers. Yay, Anvil cheer. E Songbird says, although you also jump into the stream community. Yeah, Twitch is jumpy for me, keeps freezing, says DM. Well, I'm sorry we're having trouble with the stream. I hope it's not happening now that I'm not doing a bunch of stuff. DM says, it's he, but I answer to anything. Laughing my ass off. Okay, that's cool. I'm happy to answer to anything too. Right? She or they are usually perfectly fine. And I'm good with that. If you call me he, I won't get mad. I promise. It's cool. Alright. Nikati says, the subreddit Reasonable Fantasy also has a lot of good pictures of non-sexualized art of sci-fi and fantasy women. Cool. Thank you for that tip, actually. And is it stuff that we can use? Because that's often the problem, right? Yeah, remember you still need permission to use, but it's a great place to find stuff. So the artists are on there, and we can ask them. Cool. Oh, rollforfantasy.com tools weapon creator is the link. Okay, you know what? Let's check this out, actually, because this is cool. Weapon creator. Click on the tabs for the parts you need, and on the images to use a specific part you want. Click on the same icon again to remove it, or click on the all clear button to clear the entire canvas. What a neat thing. I have a heraldry creator thingy that I use that works in a kind of a similar way. This is wicked. Alright, I'm saving this. Thanks for the resource there. Trended Hero, that is amazing. That is going to save me so much time and articles, I can't even tell you. I felt like I was going to have to draw it all. Okay. Nakati says, the music is giving a strong Irish Civil War song vibe. It's meant to be pirate music. That's what it says in the file, right? But I find a lot of pirate music sounds very Irish. And what does pirate music mean anyway, right? Are we talking about the Barbary pirates? Are we talking about the Irish pirates? Are we talking about the Caribbean pirates? They're all going to play different stuff, you know? So, yeah, but, whatever. It works. Right? Yeah, gift subs. Thanks for the gift subs, Danny. Yes, thank you so much for the gift subs. That is awesome. I hope you guys enjoy. All right. Oh, we have another one? Okay. DM says you can pause the antivirus scan. You know, I tried to, but because I was in a hurry and I was trying to get it out of my face while I was working in the stream manager, I instead managed to make the icon disappear and not shut it off. So, sorry. I'm going to change that. Yeah. Okay, so we'll look at this article in just a sec when I'm caught up here. The Rosarios. Alright. Okay. Reasonable Fantasy is pretty cool. Q's going to bed. Yes, you're up very late. So thank you for joining me, Q. Love you. I'm glad you came. You know, I don't do this well, but there we go. There's the heart. Thank you for coming. And, you know, thanks for hanging out with me. It was fun. And thanks for sharing your Megacorpolis article, because it's fucking hilarious. It's great. Yes, everybody says goodnight to Q. E Songbird says, willing to read an article? Looking for some feedbacks. Yep, absolutely. That is what I'm here for today. Right? So we will look at that too. Trended Hero, do you mind if I do hers first? Because you've already had one turn. Is that okay or not? Let me know. Right? But you did come first, so up to you. Right? Dinosaur Bob says, that looks like it's from the fantasy name generator people. Yeah, you know what it does, and when I think about that, yeah, right? They've got some. I've got my own name generators that I use at World Spinner because I can configure them the way I want and make up my own stuff. Like you'll find usually links to name generators in my ethnicity articles, right? But cool. Yeah, it does look like it's made by them, and I used them before I found World Spinner, and they're very useful if you're in a hurry for sure. Right? Fantasy name generator is awesome. I agree. Ah, Nakati, right? In the Ring of Fire series by Eric Flint, where a Virginian mining town from the year 2000 gets teleported to 1632 during the 30 Years' War, the Americans are surprised that the English Channel is infested with pirates, most from Africa. Those are on my to read list. My partner really loves them. He has like almost all the books. And I just haven't had the time yet, but it really is on the list of the next things that I'm going to read because Eric Flint is amazing. I've read other things by him and he's just great. So, yes, I am looking forward to that. And thank you for pointing that out because it's a highly acclaimed alternate history series. My partner is picky. If he likes a book, I am almost certain to love it myself, so I'll give you his recommendation, right? Dinosaur Bob says to E. Songbird going for the tongue twister challenge. And then E. Songbird's like, just saw I got gifted a subscription. Thank you so much to whoever sent that. That was Danny. Danny Adventures. Alright, and Terendit Hero says, sure, go ahead with hers first. Okay, cool. DM, thank you. DM says, best pirate music, Ailstorm. Ailstorm's pretty cool. I like them too. Yeah, although I can't really play that on the stream though. Yes, I would unfortunately get copyright struck. So, I can't do that. I have to play. I use Sirenscape because it says specifically you can play them on your streams, right? So, that is what I do, right? Although, I still end up getting occasionally, like, a single song copyright struck. Like, that really kind of pissed me off because it says specifically you can use this for commercial streaming on Sirenscape, so, you know, bite me, Twitch, right? And occasionally YouTube goes, this has been copyright claimed by somebody else, which is fine because that's just for ad revenue purposes, so whatever, I don't care, right? Hugh Solbert says, so sorry I missed the notifications. Well, it's cool, right? People put this on and they lurk and then they come in and out. I do the same. Kajutan says ethnicity or ethnicity, as in ethnos, the world of ethnos. Good question. Ethnos is awesome. Yes. Right. Secondhand Samurai says, I do like the Ring of Fire. Got Demi a leather signed version of 1632 a couple years ago. Did you? Oh, wow. I am bitterly jealous. That is cool. Leather signed edition. See, Eric Flint. Okay, okay. My plan for sharing my world is kind of the Eric Flint plan, right? I watched what he did. Okay, first of all, his first novel, Mother of Demons, is still in print, right? It's actually not fantasy; it's science fiction, right? And he made it available for free on text file early. Right? You can read it for free still. You go to Bane's site, you can read it for free, right? That's his first taste for you, right? So now, like, I think it's 20, 30 years later, they just did a signed, leather-bound collector's edition of Mother of Demons recently. Like, okay, well, I don't know what recently is, but because my partner told me about it, right? Eric Flint, when you want to write in his world, right, he has a magazine, right? And you submit to the magazine your idea. And the rules are that you can't kill anybody else's character, right? And you can't contradict existing canon. That's the rules, right? And of course it has to fit within the world, right? So, if he thinks it's good, it gets published in their anthology collection, Ring of Fire, usually, right? And then if he thinks it's really good, he'll encourage you to write a novel. And then he'll release that as a co-written novel with you, right? And you share the profits, right? And then eventually he gives you sanction to write 1632 stuff on your own. And then, you can write for the series. And a lot of people have broken into professional science fiction writing this way, right? So kind of my attitude is the same. I like to share, right? If anybody is inspired to write fan fiction in my world, right, it will go to my editor who will look at it, and if he thinks it's either way, we're willing to put it up on the site. If he thinks it's good enough, we're going to pay you for it, right? Because then it's a professional writing credit, right? And we'll actually pay you professional rate, right? And we will put it up on the site, and it will officially become part of canon, right? That's, you know, with the option that if I want to put it in an anthology or something later, I can do that, right? And you know, that's our plan, right? Because I would rather share, right? If he doesn't think that, you know, either it doesn't fit the canon or it doesn't fit, you know, the writing style just isn't up to snuff yet, then what we're going to do with it instead is have a fan fiction section, right? Which we'll publish it. There it is, right? People can read it, but we're not going to pay you for that, right? But happy to share your work, you know? Anyway, I'm not popular enough yet to have fan fiction. I have fan art. I'm happy with that, but I don't have any fan fiction yet. So, but I consider that the most sincere form of flattery, and I want to encourage it, right? So that's what we're going to do. The reason why the editor's going to look at it and not me is because there have been issues where people who've written fan fiction have sued the original authors of the series for stealing their ideas for fan fiction, right? In the actual books, like they didn't publish their fan fiction or didn't give them any money for it, but they did, or at least there were enough similarities that looked like it, right? I believe Mercedes Lackey and Larry Dixon when they say that they didn't actually read it and it was not the case, but or they didn't steal it, or at least not consciously, right? But because that's been an issue in the past, I have to create a slight layer of separation so that I can't steal the idea. And I probably won't actually read the fan fiction section, right? So, anyway, yeah. E. Songbird says 1632 is a rabbit hole. Yes, it is. Read with caution. Verita says, I've already put one up, so if there are other people asking, please prioritize them, but if you have the time, do you mind looking at another article? I guess I'd better get the hell on with it then, because we're at, like, I have half an hour, and I don't want to overlap E. Songbird. I want to make sure that, you know, things run on time. So, okay, let's get on with it. I'll catch up with the rest of the chat later. Okay, Ghosts of Saltmarsh. Oh, okay, I've seen this on a couple other streams. I do have the right one, right? Yep, okay, good. Okay. Shards of the Elder One. The 66 shards serve as a conduit to the Elder One. Ooh, Elder One, we have sea stuff. We need creepy music. 1 minute. I am sure there has got to be creepy music. Why don't I put in Cthulhu? If I can type. Well, that's not how they spelled it. Okay. When the stars go out. Or do we want like eerie, strange music? Yeah. Well, we'll go with this. Okay. Shards of the Elder One. No, we won't. That is loud. Okay. How about Strange Atmosphere? Sorry. There we go. Going with that. The 66 shards serve as a conduit to the Elder One, who views the current existence as an imperfect and corrupted one, and seeks a rebirth through complete destruction. Ooh, so my sense of Cthulhu vibe was accurate. You know, I've actually seen this picture on a lot of streams. Like, not a lot, but a few recently. But I have not read it. Like, I always catch it, like, at the beginning or the end, and then something happens, and I haven't heard it. So I'm looking forward to actually reading it through. Okay, right? They are scattered across material and planar realms. Unbeknownst to each other, both Thadra and Death Dreamer Gar Sharkoth, good Cthulhuan sounding names, good stuff, are actively searching for the shards. Ooh. They want to destroy the world? They want to control the world? I would like to know why. Okay, mechanics and inner workings. When united, the 66 soul shards contain enough power to free the Elder One from his divinely imposed prison. The shards attract each other, seeking out the familiar divine energy. As an individual who unites 3 shards, this is why. Okay, you explained it. Summons a minor avatar of the Elder One. I would not want to do that. 6 united shards summon a major avatar of the Elder One. Yikes. You want to trash the place, that's the way to do it, isn't it? Okay. Since the time of the Great Existence, 6 shards have been united, causing the great devastation of the Second Age. Paladins and clerics across the world try to prevent the discovery and union, though few know the full extent of the repercussions should they fail. I would guess. When a shard is destroyed, its power is released into the worlds, and a fraction of it is absorbed by the other shard. Oh, okay, that makes sense. So, like Horcruxes or, like, you know, Highlander kind of idea, okay? Destroying these shards releases waves of devastation, so it was decided after the shattering that, when found, the shards would be locked up and guarded but not destroyed. Always a pain in the ass when you have really tough, major, nasty artifacts that you can't destroy because they would cause more damage that way than not. Yeah. Many of these places have been safely guarded for millennia, though the purpose and reason for their guarding has been lost to some. Always a danger. Those who don't know history are doomed to repeat it. I see the adventure hook there, right? Allowing these shards to be sold as desirable gems? Yikes, that's scary. Significance. The shards were created shortly after the Great Existence. In a rare act of unity, the gods of alignment worked together to imprison the Elder One and his desire for corruption. Cool. Aware of their plans, the Elder One made a great prism into which he poured his energy and his essence. He shattered it into 66 pieces and scattered them across the material and planar existences. When the pieces are united, the Elder One will regain his former strength and be able to free himself from his divine chains. Scary stuff. All kinds of save the world stuff there. I love this picture, by the way. Your, like, you know, interesting mer person, like, covered in barnacles is fantastic. All right. Rarity. There are 66 shards of the Elder One scattered across the material and planar universes. Their meaning has been lost to time. Some have been found and turned into jewelry, decorative hilts, and other ornamentation. Lovely. Even those within the cult of the Elder One are largely unaware of their existence. The few that are tend to be corrupted by the Elder One, like Death Dreamer Gar Shakoth, or deep keepers of knowledge within the Paladin communities. Ooh. Death Dreamer, yeah, Gar Shakoth. And now I want to check that out too, actually. This is cool. I like this. Really cool Cthulhuan vibes, right? I love that whole lore. Cthulhuan, uh, Cthulhuan lore, like Lovecraft's universe, there is one of the few, like, it's an early example of collaborative world building, because a lot of other major authors at the time who published in the same pulps that Lovecraft did also wrote in the world. They asked his permission, can I write a story about this world, right? So it's actually a collaboratively built world, and it's fascinating what people came up with. There's so many interesting things that all play into it. So really cool. I really like that a lot. I gave you a like there. I want to check out your world. And am I following your world? I think I might be, but I'm going to make sure. No, I'm not. So I will fix that problem, because that is cool. Oh, this is what you're talking about. Nakati is the co-writer of this. Cool. Okay. You guys were talking about your shared world in the other stream, so that's great. Oh, I like your map. Oh, I like both your maps. Oh, those are great. Sorry. You guys should be looking at what I'm looking at, shouldn't you? Look at these maps. Aren't those great? I love all the detail um, in the this like town scenario here. It looks like an illustration in a book. It's very cool. And this, you know, this is really great too. All right, so okay, I'm going to go down the rabbit hole of Death Dreamer Gar Shakoth, because that sounds like it's really relevant at some point, but I'm not going to do it in the stream today because we are already beginning to run short of time. And I am sorry, but I really have to take a quick bio break, guys. I will try to make it as brief as I possibly can. I will be right back. So don't go anywhere. It's only going to be a couple seconds, right? I hope. All right, sorry about that, guys. All right, I have glasses now, except I can't see because they're smeared. So reading glasses, they don't do anything for the astigmatism that apparently I have, so didn't realize. The optometrist was like, you probably haven't seen anything in full focus in several years. I'm like, oh, okay. This helps though. All right, so, okay, so there's another article here, and also Trinid Hero posted a second article. So I'm going to bring up the articles first, just to make sure. Okay, yeah, I left that one up for a reason. Okay. I can close this, I think. Okay. All right, so I'll bring up the articles. I'm going to try to really quickly catch up on chat because I don't want to, I mean, we have like about 15 minutes left to the stream, and then eSongbird is scheduled right after me, right? So we want to make sure that we don't miss anything. I'm going to double check the streaming calendar here. Might as well look at that. So yes, we are here. So it means we got to scroll up eSongbird, writing sprints, and writing sprints and spotlights. Okay. So, yep, that is on in a few minutes here. So we're going to definitely raid eSongbird. You know what? I don't even know if I have my stream manager up. Just a sec. I better make sure. Okay. Yeah, all right. So, oh, you're seeing my ha ha ha. I forgot. I shouldn't be doing that. We'll go back to, that's probably giving you guys a headache. We'll go back to that. All right. Matrix World stuff there. Q would have loved it. Okay. Just going to make sure that I am on following, because I'm setting this up so that we're ready to go. I'm still pretty new to it, so okay, channel. Okay, there we go. That's what I want. I just want to make sure you're on my host list, so that it'll host you right away when we go raid you, and that you'll come up automatically. So oh, I haven't done that yet. Okay, good. I'm glad I checked. Okay. I'm trying to follow and include everybody I can. There we are. Added. Okay. Now you are on my list, so we will be able, it will come up right away, and it will show me that you are on, and we can follow you when you go live. And go raid you, because I would like to do that. Okay. Now, back to articles, I think. I'll quickly skim the chat to see if anything that wasn't directed at other people needs to be said. So, Babaca says, how does getting copyright struck on Twitch work? I understand that some people can post DMCA takedown notices, and that this has happened to a bunch of streamers recently, but that was a brand new thing that they hadn't seen before, right? So they you know, that was, and there was a bit of controversy because it had recently happened, and it happened when people were playing games, and it was over the music in the games, which seems to be like a bullshit thing to do if you would like to get hype for your games, right? Twitch is where people go to check out games if they want to play them, right? So you're shooting yourself in the foot if you're going to copyright strike streamers for playing your games. You're an idiot, okay? But it's bots because, you know, it's run by Amazon, and, you know, big corporations don't actually want to pay people to do anything, so they hire bots to, you know, they get bots to do stuff. Dust on my shirt here, right? Okay, so, but generally what happened to me was that it said, this piece is copywritten, or, you know, this piece is copyrighted, and it mutes that part of the video where that appeared, right? So it doesn't take down your video, you're not generally going to get a lawsuit, right? But it'll just mute that part of the video so other people can't watch it on the archive. Will it run fine in a stream? Probably. Not understanding that I made a couple of the, like, I played some of my playlists that I like to listen to when I'm writing when I was first starting to stream, and ended up with blocks of it muted. Whatever. Okay, so that's how it works. Does it only apply to VODs? I think you meant videos, right? I don't know. I don't know. I haven't been here long enough to know. So, yeah, Nakati says there's also like 82 anthology books for the Ring of Fire series. Yeah. Secondhand says the Gazetteers are supposed to be wild. Does anyone here read the 1632 Gazetteer zine stuff? I don't, right? Secondhand says I only read the mainline books. We're working on it. We started with that, but we're expanding from there. When I do, I'll let you know what I think. Nakati says, I got introduced to Eric Flint when he wrote 2 short stories in the Honor Harrington series. I was instantly hooked. Yes, me too, actually, right? Because I read the Honor Harrington books. I'm a big fan. They're a huge influence in my Toy Soldier saga, right? The even though mine's like more Magic Age of Sail, but like the principles are, definitely owe a debt to Weber, right? And yeah, I had a couple of the anthologies. I really like Eric Flint's writing style. He has a tongue-in-cheek sense of humor and an innate understanding of people that I really appreciate in the way he characterizes people. So yeah, it's fun, right? Yeah. Secondhand says the Bane free CD got me to buy all the Honor Harrington books, audiobooks, and leather-bound books. See, exactly, right? It really does work. Bane's Bar used to have some interesting hats. Yeah, yeah, I have a couple of those free CDs myself, right? Awesome stuff. Plus, introduced me to some filk music, which I really like, and stuff like that. Honor Harrington has audiobooks, says Nakati. Yeah, you bet. Really good narrator as well. Although I understand because I watched where David Weber was a guest speaker at NavyCon, right? And the guy who brought him was giving a presentation about what his books say about naval operations and politics and strategy, right? And he's asked David Weber, is it Manticoran or Manticoran, right? And it's actually, according to David Weber, Manticoran, although the narrator says Manticoran. So your mileage may vary. Okay. But the narrator is excellent. The narrator does the voices really well, gets the feel of it, um, and I think does a perfect voice for Honor, right? Honor is described as having a soprano voice, which I adore. I adore that, right? Because she's tough as nails, right? And it is an amazing commander. And she is a girl, thank you. And she likes being a girl. And there's nothing wrong with that, you know? And I really like how she makes both work very well. It's a well written character. I enjoy it, you know. I'm nothing like her, by the way. I'm a tomboy, but I like that this was communicated. All right. Um, okay. Yeah, off and on Audible deal of the day. So that's helpful. Um, okay. Kajutan says about fan fiction, a quick Google look shows that fan fiction is a little bit of a legal minefield. Yes, it really is, right? You really have to be careful. Yeah. Yeah. Kajutan says, I think this picture is a default picture of one of the World Anvil themes. Tell me if I'm wrong. Is it? Because I haven't seen that theme yet. I mean, like, it might be, but it really fits. It's cool. Try to think about what happened when one of the shards is destroyed, says the Songbird, in terms of releasing the Elder One. I don't think the photo is. It's my world photo, but the background is the standard. It's very cool, right? I find if you go over to read my article, I'll talk with the next streamer and quell and protests. Danny wants to know, can a new shard be created from the broken one or an artificial shard? And it's obviously directed at E Songbird. Carefully, Songbird. She can be tough. I'll put her in jail. It'll be a nice turn of events. It's cool. Want me to get WD in here? Yeah, no doubt, right? You wanna critique. There's a guy to hit up, right? Because he'll pull no punches, right? If you are feeling cocky, right, and you think, okay, my writing, I feel pretty good about it. I need someone to really sharpen up the polishing of the facets because I want to make it perfect and professional. That's the man you talk to. Okay. Greg says, I'm pretending to be productive this afternoon because I've been enjoying the streams too much, says E Songbird. My problem too. I'll be in yours too, so hopefully I'll catch up. I may lurk. I may lurk. Oh, and Story Girl showed up. Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining me. How are you today? You Songbird says the Sable's Privateers thingy is one of my favorite emotes. Okay, that is actually a public domain image of Anne Bonny, who of course was a rather infamous female pirate. I love it because I used it for the cover of my Filk album Pirates and Pagans, and my goddess daughter immediately said to me, "Oh, where did you get someone to do that picture of you, Mom?" Right? And I was like, "Oh, I guess it does look like me." And she said, "Yeah, it looks like you when you're really mad." And it's a public domain image, so I can use it freely. So I put that on everything. So this is the symbol I use for Sable's Privateers, which is my Discord community and my yeah, like my Patreon, right, and everything else. So, and it's a long story that I'm not going to tell right now because we're running out of time. But yes, I'm glad you like it. I like it too. Kahoot is here at the end. That's okay. Welcome. I'm sure you had things to do after you finished your stream. Thanks for joining me. Dreaded Hero, hug me. Yep. Danny tried to take the day off today but lost. Greg is working on art. Behind the curtain, behind the curtain. Echoes, probably referring to my creepy sound effects. Alright. Oh, yeah. Oh, no, my, stream into the stream manager there. DM Stretch might be able to help out eSongbird with a few things. That would be handy. I'm still figuring shit out too, and I don't use OBS. I use Twitch Studio, which is like their basic, here, point here and click dummy, and this is how you stream, right? It's still working for me, and I haven't had a complaint about it yet, so I don't care. Yeah, there's an audio check for certain music, and they mute your VODs. This host list she's talking, okay, so I'll ignore all that. Okay, because that's all technical stuff. Shit, I am running out of time for this stream. Okay. The emotes are great. Okay. Alright. Okay, so that was all streaming discussion. Can we do these two articles in 4 minutes? We're going to find out. Okay. Wait a minute. I did the Shards of the Elder one. Hold on. I thought there was a second article. eSongbird, put me the link to the other article that you had in the chat right now, please, so that I can find it, because I don't have time to go back and look at it, look for it right now. And I will start with the Order of Wave Cutters, or Weave Cutters. From True Undead Hero, his Nova Aetus world, which I am following. Order of Weave Cutters. The Order of Weave Cutters is a separate military order of the Masikan Empire that actively hunts down aberrations, monstrosities, and rogue or dangerous spellcasters that exist within the Sovereign Coast, as well as the conquered territories beyond their borders. The members of this order are known colloquially as anti-mages. Oh, yes, this is not my first view of the article. I saw this and I liked it. Okay, composition, weaponry. While anti-mages are usually proficient in most tools of combat, the most common pairing found in the Mazakan Empire are the saber and pistol combination due to their relentless speed. Sorry. Good. Yeah, I totally see the swashbuckling, right? That's great. Okay, training. Anti-mages are taught elite tactics to quickly handle mages without causing widespread devastation using the tools of their trade. Often, anti-mages are taught that they should approach with words or negotiation before accelerating to combat. If combat becomes a factor, they are well trained in an array of weapons, as well as the ability to utilize improvised weapons. Minor typo, you missed as between well and the, but no big deal, right? To utilize improvised weapons in the case that they should become disarmed, as well as utilize the alchemical formulas and salves at their disposal for ultimate effectiveness. So they're basically a bit like witchers, eh? They use alchemy to give themselves abilities that can have the power to take on mages, because that's cool. I like that concept, by the way. Like as a concept, it's neat. It's not unique to The Witcher, right? So it's not stolen anywhere, right? That has been a long-standing thing in literature. So, but that's the most recent example. Upkeep, logistics, upkeep. I like logistics, by the way. I like that there's a logistics section. Unlike most of the Mazakan, the upkeep of these troops are not done through public taxation, but rather through bounties and warrants of arrest against dangerous mages or threats. The Order of Weave Cutters also receive donations from wealthy families who share fanatical military backgrounds or have enlisted their children into the service, even though anti-mages are not allowed to hold titles after joining. That's interesting, and I like that. So a bit of a Knights Templar kind of deal then, too. Cool. Recruitment. Members of the Order of Weave Cutters are taken, recruited. Uh, I would say recruited dash, that is taken dash, right, at the age of 14 to 20 years old. After that, it is near impossible to join the ranks as a recruit without having prior experience. So you've got to be a mage hunter before they'll take you on as a mage hunter. Makes sense? As recruits, they are placed under an intense training regimen. Regimen is the word you're looking for. You put a T at the end of it, typo. I do it all the time, all the time. Okay, as well as subject to alchemical experiments to try and lessen their connection to the weave and make them more resistant to the effects of magic. Cool. Now I realize again this is a summer camp article. Type support, overall training level professional, assumed veterancy veteran, used by Empire of Mazaka, right? And therefore, it is not a complete article, obviously. It's the framework of your idea, but something, and I already liked it. So, yeah, but I like it because it's cool, right? Something to consider in the future is what kind of effect do the alchemical experiments have on them, right? Does it kill anybody when they're undergoing it? Does it make anybody go crazy, right? Does it cause pain in survivors, even? Like, I would be very interested. All right. All right. He Songbird says that is hysterical. AJ says that's awesome. DM puts up the Sable's Privateers emote. Songbird says you can go over on my end. Okay, cool, fair enough, thank you. Trended Hero says mine. Uh, Walking Dead Lover says yay, Trended Hero's article is being read. Yes, he posted it a while ago. Oh, and Songbird says, go a few minutes over. I have to take a quick bio break. Sure, happy to hold the fort till you get back. No problem. Oh, We've Faded is another article, says True Undead Heroes. So that's how that works. That makes sense. In that case, what I would do personally is I do this a lot with cross-referencing articles, right? So if I can't navigate, like if it doesn't make sense to read them in the order at the bottom where the, parent, category, previous article, next article sometimes goes, then I will put a block link in the sidebar, right underneath this, where this box here appears, type support overall training level. I would put it as an article block link here, right, so that people can immediately click on it and go to the relevant article so that they can cross-reference and have an idea what you're talking about, right? That's what I personally do, right? But Songbird says, no complaints if you read the Death Dreamer article if you need to stall. It's one I forgot to share early in camp, so I didn't get a lot of feedback. Okay, but did you post the link? Because or did you repost the link by any chance? I'll scroll back and find it. I had the wrong one. I ended up with the Shards article a second time. Oh, okay. Verita Razel. Verita Razel has an article. I haven't seen it yet. I'm sorry. Let's go look at it. Oh, neat. Okay. It's taking a while to load. I'm probably overloading things. Oh, okay. Big picture. That's all right. Okay. Good. I thought it was just me. All right. Okay. So here we go. This is cool. All right. The Great Nesting Tower. The Great Nesting Tower is the main home to Aeolian gliders, and or is that Aeolian gliders, right? And is both a waypoint and a horror to sailors and pilgrims sailing across the Aurora River. Originally titled Pilgrim's Way Tower, it once stood proud as a watchtower for sailors and functioned as a resting stop for Cleridian pilgrims traveling the river and observing Zoridian's circlet. So this is your repurposed building article. Cool. Okay. However, after the spoiling of the Church of Claridazon, under the rule of Rank, Horston Routoir. Okay, sorry I'm butchering your names. Rank being, of course, you haven't written the Rank article yet, but fair enough. The church had to pull their purse strings tight in order to recover from the near bankruptcy, and many precious outposts were lost as a result. Makes sense, happens a lot in history. The tower and its surrounding man-built islands were among those lost and soon fell to ruin. The Aeolian gliders took notice of the freed space and immediately took advantage. Makes sense? At first, they only took the Pilgrim's Way Tower and settled their flock upon the island, but soon other flocks and lone flyers requiring a home found the settlement and migrated over. After decades of territorial disputes, so vicious, sailors drink over the tails even centuries later. That's kind of an awkward sentence. It makes sense. It's perfectly correct grammatically, but it's difficult when you're reading it to get what you're trying to say. I would put that were between disputes and so. After decades of territorial disputes that were so vicious, sailors still drink over the tails even centuries later. That's what I would do, right? Because then it's clear, right? The winning flock took over both the tower and the surviving lone flyers, flock remains, and deserters. Neat. With the higher population, the group, now officially a super flock, and now I want to know what your Aeolian gliders are, required more space and took control of the surrounding abandoned islands as well, stretching their territory over a third of that Ocean's River segment. Okay. Yet meanwhile, the old Pilgrim's Way Tower Island itself was steadily built upon by the main flock, parts of the ruined power torn out, other parts reinforced and built upon by human ships they had ruined while hunting and protecting their territory. So are these like siren type creatures? Like they live in rocks and they prey on ships, and well, that would make sense with the name Aeolian, wouldn't it? Okay, right? Neat. Um, and they build things, so now I know for a fact that they're likely sentients, right? After their alterations, the tower was 4 times as times and many more times wider. You probably don't need the as times there. It was 4 times as big as it was and many more times wider. I don't know. Cold winds formed fogs surrounding the nest, covering it so entirely outsiders can only see a huge blurred stack with unknown parts sticking out, surrounded by fog colored by the reflection of the Aurora River. Purpose function. The Great Nesting Tower currently acts as the main living grounds of Aeolian gliders, housing primarily the dominant flock members and serving as the center. It's serving, you want here, not serves, just FYI, right? As the center of the super flock's territory. The gliders treat it as a home base, and whenever they discover something they consider vital, an emergency occurs. They introduce life partners, or something similarly important occurs. The tower is where they gather and report to. Treated as a home base. I would lead this with the gliders treat it as a home base and use it for occasions of great import, or occasions of great import, such as discovering something vital, an emergency, introducing life partners, or other important matters, right? Something like that is how I would put that. But yeah, I get it. It's like they're great. Like this is where the great stuff in the community happens. The stuff that has widespread application to the whole community, and that's awesome. Before the tower became home to the Aeolian glider superflock, it acted as a watchtower for sailors and travelers, as well as a resting stop and observational point for pilgrims traversing the Aurora River. Cool. Sounds like sensible. The pilgrims rested and refreshed themselves before deciding whether to remain or move on. Excellent. That's cool. Yeah. Some remained to observe Zeridian Circlet and surrounding revered holy places. I can't wait to see what Zeridian Circlet is, right? You linked that up here, didn't you? Okay, I'll go down that rabbit hole later too, right? Others remained for self-reflection, meditation, and scripture studies. Others chose to leave, either to continue their pilgrimage or return home. Alterations. After the tower fell to ruin, it was occupied by an Aeolian glider superflock who made use of it as a home base and nesting zone. In order to meet their needs, the intelligent creatures, thank you, made many alterations. They tore out the observational dome and weapon points. Doors were pulled out and roofs caved in before they reinforced the tower by filling and surrounding it with rocks and boulders. Yeah. Okay. They built upon it using ships they had stolen or ruined and materials they pilfered from ruins and ports. The built island itself was built upon and expanded to support them, and the tower grew several times in size. Passageways were built with trick pathways leading to traps for intruders to fall prey to. This sounds like a great setting for an RPG and something that would be a lot of fun to send your PCs to explore. Now I understand the big picture. That's really cool. Did you like make that in, that looks like it might be an Artbreeder piece, is it? Because I do stuff like that in Artbreeder. Well, not quite that cool though. I love what you've done with it. Like, this is great. And I can now tell these are people like going up to something that is high up and obscured by mists. That's really cool. Ruined structure. I guess ruined 761 IE, founding date 235 IE, alternative names, Nesting Island, Aeolian Glider's home base. Type, tower, guard tower, and parent location, Aurora River. That is very cool. I like this idea of a watchtower that has been created, and then as it fell into ruin due to neglect, right? That it became something that an intelligent race of bird type people used, because that makes perfect sense, right? It's already this high structure, right? Birds, clearly like to live in our structures anyway, because hey, why build shit when you don't have to, right? And starlings live in my roof, so yeah, that makes sense. Oh, okay. Hydrate and posture check. Thank you. Um, Verita says it's a photo I messed up and edited. E Songbird says Art Breeder. Yes, Art Breeder. Let's see. I warn you, it is a time sink. Well, yeah. I think it's .com, is it? Or is it .org or .net? Just a second. .com. Okay. So, artbreeder.com. This is where you go if you want to create your own images that you can use where you're not an artist, and you don't have time, or you're not an artist in the format you want, right? And it's good for character pictures and landscapes in particular, right? And but don't go there unless you have time. My advice would be not to screw with it during summer camp at all. I would stay the hell away from it until August, because I guarantee you, once you're there, expect the whole day, like the whole day, because that's what happened to me, at least, plus a little bit of the next day, spent screwing around, figuring out how it works, right? One of my past streams, which I think is one of the ones I've archived on YouTube, has an investigation into Artbreeder. I showed it to somebody, so okay, so We've Faded is another article. Yeah. Okay. Right. Browser is creaking under all that tab weight. I'm sorry. Yes, it is. Yeah. Isn't eSongbird streaming now? Hopefully, is eSongbird live? Because that is where we're going next. I'm sorry, I just, they said give them some time to do a bio break, so I figured I had time to do one last article. I really liked that. Uh, that was really, really, really cool. Verita, Verita, it was great. I liked it a lot. I liked the imagination for the world. So, Danny says, it's too late for me. I'm sorry if I missed your link. If I missed your link, oh, she's waiting for the stream to end. I know there's some articles that didn't get featured and I wanted to get them read. Haven't gotten live yet, waiting for the okay. I think the only thing I have missed was exploring deeper down the rabbit hole of the Death Dreamer article that you posted and said, if you need to stall, do this, right? So I did not need to stall. If you go live, then I'll set up to raid you, right? And in the meantime, yes, we can do things on another stream. Like I said, okay, so while eSongbird is getting set up and is live so that I know I can go raid her, right? I'd still love your feedback, but don't want to keep you here longer than you want to. Do you want me to look at it before you go live? It's up to you. You're the one that's next. I don't want to step on your toes, right? I want people to support you. So look at it. Okay, we'll do another stream. Yes, okay, so my streaming schedule is, and go ahead and go live now, eSongbird, and I'll be there in just a moment. I'll just finish up the stream and we'll go raid you. I'll set up the raid right now. But I can't raid you until you're live. So, all right. So, oh, you just clicked the live button right before you said that. Okay, good. All right, excellent. So then, thank you all for joining me. So many wonderful people here in the chat. I'm so appreciative of the fact that it was such a lively conversation. Like, you guys were just awesome. And so many thanks for the bits queue. Thanks for the gift subs, Danny, right? Thanks for all the follows, everybody. Oh, and thank you, that, if you love the streams, waving and writing, and Kahuna says, have a great evening, Sable. Well, thank you. You too. Kahuna. You're awesome. Coming up tomorrow night, we have our game, Toy Soldiers Old School, which happens, it's in my Toy Soldier Saga universe, which is here on World Anvil. It's from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Pacific time. It's on the schedule. Wednesday, I do Diane Writes, where I do writing sprints and answer writing questions. So I'm going to try to get some stuff done on that day, I hope. So I'm not going to do a lot of feedback on that day. But again, next Sunday, Sable's WorldForge, we will do another feedback episode entirely, right? I'll remind you that I'm sponsoring the birthday challenge, so this might be a great opportunity to get that in front of my face and make sure that I see it. All right, and we're going to go raid eSongbird now. Wait a minute. Not coming up. Okay, you know what? I'm going to do this. eSongbird. Give me no results found. The hell is this? Have you forbidden raids, eSongbird? No. Am I spelling things wrong? Why are you not coming up? That makes no sense. Ah. Hmm. Okay, I can't seem to raid your channel here, eSongbird. That is crappy. I don't know what is going on, but I will post the link in the chat then, is what I will do. Oh, I don't show her live yet. Okay, is that what it is? All right. So we'll wait until she comes up and goes live, because we, got to go check out her stream. By the way, holy crap, guys, I just realized, according to my stats up here, because I wasn't looking that closely before, 97 followers, 6 subscribers. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for all the support. And there's like 26 of you in the chat. Oh my god, that is so amazing. Wow. Okay. All right. I feel the love. She's live, but it's not showing up. Okay. You have about 30 seconds for your question there, Trended Hero. I'm sorry. Any good resources for post-apocalypse? Okay, she's live now. All right, we'll try to go over. Off the top of my head, no, but I will think about it and I will get back to you in the Discord. Okay, I am following her, but I followed her right before the thing here, so I cannot understand why this is not working. eSongbird 24601. Well, I can type /raid in the chat, right? Let's see if that works. Yeah, okay, gotcha. Try typing that. 24601. Let's try that. Yay! All right, it's loading. Cool. 4 seconds. 3, 2, 1. And we're going. Have a great day, guys. See you next time.
Life through voice acting and character. So